Anyhow these man lose this game, bro. I swear down. Anyhow these man lose this game. Anyhow the... Oh my days!
Ball whipped in. Oh my days, what are you doing? Oh my days.
Oh my god.
Say! You...
Vamos, come on.
Fuck this, blood! I swear down! I swear down now!
On the balls. Woo!
This, bro. Oh, bro, it's over. It's all it sees now, bro. I swear it down. Go! Go! Go ball! Go ball! Go ball! Go ball! Go ball! Go ball! My man, yeah! Yeah,
I knew it, blood. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it, blood.
And they have won it at the end. It's Lamina. It's head in hands for Spurs. It's hands in the air for Wolves.
I knew it, blood. I fucking knew it, blood.
The spirit of the world.
Vamos, come on.
Welcome back to the Top 6 show. Hit like button, subscribe, turn on bell notifications. It was an epic weekend of Premier League football. It's a shame it's the international break, but we're going to delve into those games and much more on the show this evening. Of course, we're covering Wolves, Tottenham. We're looking at the 8-goal thriller between Chelsea and Manchester City. Arsenal and Liverpool on fire again as a title race already is starting to take great shape. Got a brilliant panel for you tonight. Don is on his way, as is Johnny Minerals. I'll be here later. We've got Kate and Jords. We've got Man Like Lewis, and Rory Talks Ball is with us as well. Good evening. Oh, everybody well? Everybody good?
Oh, good, man.
Very
I
good.
was before I saw that intro.
Yeah, same. I wish I could say I was good. You just reminded me of Saturday again.
I am sorry about that. And if I'm being honest with you, that's where we're going to start tonight. That's where we're going to start tonight with that game. I know we spoke to both Kate and George after the match, but sometimes your mindset's in a different place 24, 48 hours later, as opposed to the sort of emotional aftermath. Like in the end, Wolves gave you a little bit of a humbling, especially with the 2 goals in the dying minutes, George. What do you make of it now, reflecting back? Did the manager get the formation right? Were you too open towards the end? A lot of people were blaming the likes of Eric Dyer and Davis. What's your head saying 24 hours later?
Darren Davies. My head's still gone on Darren Davies, I'll be honest. I'm still sat there. I've watched the goals back about 20, 30 times. And I've literally watched them back just looking at them. I've got frames, pictures of just those two to see where they are. And I just can't help but think, like, without those two, we'd be in so much a better place. But I'll be honest, I do think Ange got it wrong from the jump. I think we went too defensive. I think playing with Højbjerg in the middle, with Bissouma and Sarr, it just lacked creativity. It lacked anyone with real good ball retention in our midfield. And you saw that from the first 10, 15 minutes. We couldn't keep the ball. I think Wolves played better than us pretty much the whole game, I'll be honest. We were on the back foot. You even see Brennan Johnson come out and say something about we played too safe, and that was exactly it. It just didn't look like the Tottenham of this season. I don't know if it was a tactical tweak from Ange, but a lot of the players didn't press. That we missed the press. I mean, the whole point for us is that we have our front three and we have our midfield three, and that we knew our defense was poor, and we thought, you know what, let's defend from the front. We didn't do none of that on the weekend. We wasn't defending from the front. We let the game come to us. We let Wolves take control of the game, and after 1-0, it just seemed too comfortable, too complacent. And the likes of Bissouma, who put in an absolute disgraceful performance, he's a senior player in this team, as in he's one of the older players. You expect a lot more from him, especially how he started this season. So absolute poor performance all round. I'd like to say you could throw the blame at a specific person, and as much as I hate Darren Davies and I'd love to throw it their way, you have to throw it at everyone because there wasn't one good player on the pitch. I don't feel like Ange set the team up good, and yeah, just reflect on it. It just all went to bad. Literally everything that you could think could go bad, and anyone that could play bad played bad. So everything went Wolves' way. They deserved the win. The first goal was class. I'll give it to them. That first goal was absolutely class. That finish and touch from Sarabia was, yeah, that you really can't say.
It was special. It was very special.
It really was. And then the last goal, I mean, it just had to be in Tottenham fashion, innit? It really was. Like, you just for me, I remember when I was watching the game, I was watching it on the BT Sport app, so you're like delayed by maybe 20 seconds or so. When we got that free kick and we passed it forward, I thought, let me check my phone. Maybe it's full time now, 1-1. And I see the 2-1 on my phone, and I'm like, nah, surely not. And I'm watching it as it's going along. They're going down. I'm like, nah. Then, as we do as fans, as soon as the goal goes in, you're waiting for VAR. You think, VAR might come and save me.
Yeah.
It didn't save us at all the weekend. And we didn't deserve it, man. You got to give it to us. They played better than us. They deserved the win. And yeah, man, we really can't complain. There is no excuses for us. We played poorly.
Lewis, a lot of people a lot of Spurs fans in the chat on Thursday when we were on, sort of said that people shouldn't be doubting them. They can cope with the injuries. There'll be no problems. That lasted about 3 minutes and they did look good. And then things fell apart. Was this a case of the players in the team not being able to understand and play Andrew's football? Or is it also a case that they were still too open in the dying moments of a game where they were going to get over the line? Was it a combination of the players not being good enough and the manager not adapting his tactics to get the job over the line?
Yeah, I think it's probably a combination of both, to be honest with you. I mean, obviously they've got a couple. Obviously Romero's out. They've got the injuries. We all know that. And everyone's just been expecting Spurs to do the Spursy thing and sort of crumble. And I said last week, I think Spurs are now in damage limitation mode. I think all hopes of a title are gone. I know not every Spurs fan was saying they're going to win the title, but there was a few out there saying that they could do it. I think now they're in damage limitation mode because if you go back 2 weeks, right, Spurs were flying. The Ange hype was at max, and they were chilling. And if you would have said 2 weeks ago, Spurs not getting top four, people look at you weird. Now, I genuinely think that they need to be careful because they've got some real tough games. I'm sure the Spurs guys have looked at the fixtures coming up. It's not looking good, Brev, is all I'd say. And I think they're in damage limitation mode. I think they just need to get through this next period, basically, until they get all the players back, like Maddison and Van der Ven. And if they can stay within that sort of top five and not fall off, I think that's a success. I think the Ange hype probably went overboard, if we're all being honest. I mean, I think that went way too far. But yeah, I mean, it's wild. And I look at Spurs' fixtures, and I'm just thinking, could these guys just like fall away from that top four? I mean, you play Villa next, I believe. That's not going to be an easy game. And United, they're the informed team in the league. If you believe the form guide, they're only 5 points behind them. So listen, I just think Spurs just need to be careful here because they had a great start to the season. The whole fan base was buzzing. Some got carried away, some didn't. If we look back if we go forward 4 weeks' time, they could be in a bad situation if they can't fix this because they've lost the last 2 games. Maddison, no Van der Ven, Romero still out. Yeah, it's not looking good, man. They need to turn this around big time, and they got Villa as well in the next match.
I don't know if you know, but Villa's away record is absolutely atrocious this season. They're coming to our ground. So as much as I'd like to say, I'm not going to say we're going to go there and win, innit? We've got 2 weeks. Let's see where the team's at. But I wouldn't be so confident in Villa away from home.
Yeah, but bro, you also got to remember they're playing a Spurs side with no Romero, no Van der Ven, no Maddison. Yeah,
no Basuma.
No Basuma. So you can talk about Villa not having a great away record. I don't know their away record, but they're going to be coming to your ground buzzing. And for them, yeah, they could get top 4 if they beat you. They don't need no incentive. They don't need to think about their past form away from home. They've got the biggest incentive going that they could be in the top 4 after 13 games. And they're playing a heavily weakened Spurs. And by the way, your players, when they're playing that, they're not going into that game confident, man. 2 L's on the bounce. They're going to be.
It's an interesting one, right? Their away record this season 7 points, but your home record this season 12, which is not a bad home record, but it's not. You think about Villa's home record 18 points, Liverpool's 18 points, Arsenal's 17 points, City's 15 points. They've only played 5. In fairness, you've only played 5 at home as well. Some teams have played a few more than you, but yeah, I get. Kate, how do you see it? Because I know you've been someone that's been happy with what you're doing. You haven't really you've not really jumped aboard the hype train too much. You've told Tottenham fans to calm down. A few injuries, we could be in a little bit of trouble. Let's take our time with this. And I know you're not one to say I told you so, but it kind of feels like, excuse the pun, but there's a lot of chickens coming home to roost.
I agree with Lewis. I think we're on the edge of the cliff and just waiting to fall off. I'm not going to lie. Villa next.
they look so dangerous with Diaby, Watkins. They're both, absolutely flying. Man City, no chance. We've got West Ham away, Newcastle, Forest, Everton, Brighton. I mean, the Villa, Man City, West Ham, Newcastle, I'll be amazed if we get anything out of it. I'm not going to lie. I think we're down to the bare bones. Everyone says that we had a good window because we got Van der Ven, Maddison, Vicario, but we also got Phillips, who is meant to be a centre-back, and Andrew's persisting in playing Dyer over him. So he's not that good. I mean, we just had reports today. Udogie's injured, pulled out of international duty. I don't know if it's going to be a case of he has 2 weeks off and he'll come back and he'll be fine. But yeah, I fear the worst. I mean, I don't see us making top 4, not going to lie. I said at the start of the season, any sort of Europe, and I'd be happy because it's an improvement. And yeah, I'm sticking with that. I just think, for me, I would call back Alfred Devine from Port Vale. He's not playing there. He's a good attacking midfield option, better than Lo Celso, in my opinion, to take on Maddison's role. But yeah, it's exactly, like I said, I don't want to say I told you so, but it's exactly what I knew would happen. If we get a couple of injuries, it all goes tits up. And that's exactly what's happened. Everything's happened at once.
Okay, just a few things there. Alfred Devine's actually played a few games. If you've seen in the Carabao Cup,
not a full 90 minutes. I don't think he's had a full 90 minutes yet.
I wouldn't think about calling him back just because I think he needs experience. But I don't see this notion of, look, I understand why our team's gonna be bare and why we're not going to be looking at picking up a lot of points. We've got a hard run leading into Christmas. There's no doubt about that. And without Maddison, it's not going to be easy at all. But we've got Romero coming back. We all know having Romero back and Udogie back after the next game, well, Romero after City, let's say after the City game, that's a lot more stability in our back line. I think right now that one of the main problems is that with our back line that we currently put out this weekend, we can't build out from the back. We fail to keep the ball. We can't move the ball. And those phases of play that a lot of the teams used to, they're not taking up the same positions. So for me, once Romero is back, once Udogie is back, you're going to see, of course, we're not going to be the same high-flying Spurs that we started off the season at. We're not going to maintain that. But you're going to see a different team, and I reckon you'll see a lot more stable teams. So when we go into the games against Newcastle, against West Ham, bear in mind, both of these teams play Europe, and during that December period, they're both going to be playing games during the week and then games on the weekend. So they're going to be doing the Wednesday, Thursday, Sunday schedule that we're going to be able to take advantage of those. And I see us picking up points in those games in particular. Maybe the next 2 games I think are going to be tough for us. But a lot of people that think it's all down and out throughout the Christmas period, I really don't think so.
I like your enthusiasm, but and your confidence. I don't see it myself. All the while, Dyer and Davis are anywhere near that team, and the likes of Lo Celso are there, ready to come on. For me, they've let down manager after manager, year after year, and it's just, I've got no faith in any of them.
Rory, what do you make of this? As a gooner looking from the outside in, do you still think top 4 is a shoo-in, as many Spurs fans do? Or do you agree more with Kate and Lewis that the wheels could be about to fall off of Big Angie's bus?
I don't think it's a shoo-in. I think Villa will continue to be there or thereabouts. I think Chelsea could make a late surge. The same arguments that can be made for Spurs about no Europe. Chelsea don't have that either, and they've got a much bigger squad if they need it. But I do think, do you know what, right? I was on the concourse at the Emirates when the second goal went in, and the cheer was one that we've seen Spurs concede goals on the concourse before, and there's normally a jeer and some laughter, but there was a genuine cheer of relief, I think, that whilst we'd all been saying, Spurs will collapse, Spurs will fall apart, 10 games in, they hadn't, and they were looking good, and it was beginning to be like, well, this is getting a bit concerning. So there was definitely a feeling of relief that, Spurs returned to Spurs. But, bring back the key players. There's nothing to stop them going on the same sort of run that they've just had when you enter sort of February, March, April. So I think they'll be there or thereabouts for top 4. I do think that Liverpool, Arsenal and Man City will pull away, but yeah, it'll be close.
Yeah, I think. Listen, I'm not surprised with the cheering. We saw on the terrace on Saturday once the game ended. I think it's the biggest Spurs stream we've ever done. And I would say a large amount of that was rivals kind of turning up to sort of have their pop. as it were. But yeah, Villa are an interesting one when it comes to the top 4 race because, and this is not a dig at Tottenham, but Tottenham have been hugely celebrated in the media. Ange ball bigged up. It's been looked at as innovative. We've seen the headlines that nobody's ever fixed a club this quickly. I've seen headlines saying he's the new Sir Alex Ferguson. And Aston Villa, with no praise at all, are 1 point behind them. So I think to write Aston Villa, and by the way, and Arsenal 1 point ahead of them, and Arsenal have been spoken about this season as being absolutely shocking compared to last year. And I do think there's an element here of, and I say this in the right way, I think Spurs have been great, and I've praised them so many times this season. But the way they've been spoken about at times is as though they're 10 to 15 points clear at the top of the league. I'm not even saying about anybody on this panel, just in general in the media. It's crazy.
But Terry, you just said like Arsenal, people have rightly so said Arsenal way off from where they were last year, because this point last year, Arsenal not unbeaten, having however many points. They may not be unbeaten, but they had however many points they did have. All Arsenal fans recognize that they're probably about 5 points worse off, or if not more than where they were last season. So they aren't the team that they were last season. I think anyone making that observation isn't wrong to do so. And I think the big difference is that Tottenham came from down here to up here, and Arsenal come from up here to a bit lower. So that's where the observation comes from. I don't think it's wrong.
No, I understand. I mean, Arsenal were 4 had 4 extra points last year. So from a points total point of view, you could argue that. But equally, at this stage last year, I think Spurs had the same amount of points. It was 26 odd points. So in terms of the start to the season, it was where it was. And I understand the praise for Big Andrew. I think he deserved it. But as I say, for me, the way I've seen Tottenham praised, right down to this time just almost a week ago, playing on the halfway line with 9 men and being open, I stand by this. And Spurs are being gaslit all week. Any other manager in the Premier League, including Pep, does that and ends up losing 4-1 from a winning position. Their team and the manager's tactics would be absolutely ridiculed, ripped apart. Why did you do it? And for some reason, it was celebrated as like discovering fire or the Wright brothers learning to fly. I found it very, very strange, and it was almost this. It was a weird concept for me. And I'm not saying Spurs deserve no praise. That isn't what I'm suggesting or alluding to. I'm just stating that I think they'll make top 4. They're still there, but I'm not looking beyond Villa. I'm definitely not looking beyond Newcastle. And we're going to get onto Chelsea a little bit later, but this Chelsea team is starting to do some really good things. And they're going to spend in January. They're going to go and buy a striker. They're going to probably buy a few more experienced players that maybe break the 25-year-old barrier, as it were. And I think Spurs have got to, I do think that what you said, George, I think Big Andrew's got to adapt. I think you have to be a little bit more stable. I think you've got to sit back a little more. If he plays as open as he is doing until the 97th minute of the game, you are going to get beat by these teams you're playing soon, because the Premier League's too good. And I mean this with all due respect. And I heard, what's his face? Jamie O'Hara say it. This isn't Scotland. In Scotland, Rangers and Celtic can almost do what they want and pretty much always guaranteed to win. This is just a different level of football. And I think that naivety from Big Ange at this level could end up costing you. You do need to sit back. You need to be more compact with the quality of players that you've got out. And then, I know you guys were serenading him a few weeks ago with we've got our Tottenham back, but your owners and Levy have got to go out in January and spend big again. I mean, you're a big spending club anyway. You are a big spending club. 420 million in the last 2 years is, I think, third highest in the Premier League. 1.8, 1.9 billion in Premier League history. You need to go out in January and buy big and buy solid, spend some more of that Harry Kane money and improve the squad. If you do that, then of course I think you can get top 4. But the other teams around you are all going to spend. So, yeah, it's an interesting time for Tottenham now, how they bounce back, how the manager reacts, how the team responds after losing. And a lot of these are the challenges I think rivals are kind of issuing out against Tottenham, really.
Thing is, it's all very well saying Levy needs to go out and spend, but we all know he's not going to go out and spend. He doesn't spend in January anyway, and he certainly won't be spending what we need. We've already had it come out that the Kane money's gone, or near enough.
Do you know what? Okay, I don't know if you did see today. There was some good news that apparently the Saudi Arabian clubs are interested in Richarlison, so there could be some push coming our way. I'm telling you.
I believe that when I see it. I believe that when I see it. But yeah, that's the thing. Levy, in my opinion, he wants to get Champions League every year, and he's happy with that because that's where the money is. So will he go out and spend a lot of money? For me, no. The fact we're linked to Lloyd Kelly speaks volumes to me. He's crap, I'm not going to lie, and he's not the sort that's going to push you up the table, let's be fair. So my beef isn't with Ange, although I don't He wasn't my choice particularly, but I like him. I like what he's doing. I like his philosophy. But as I've said before, if we win anything, if we do anything, it will be in spite of Levy, not because of him, because I just don't see him putting his hand in his pocket.
You know what, Kate? I think Spurs need to be really careful here. This is just like a bit longer term, because if he doesn't get the checkbook out, I think Spurs could really struggle. I think this is masking over a few cracks. I mean, City are always going to invest, right? I think Liverpool, have the second best manager in the league, so they'll be thereabouts. Arsenal seem to be spending money these days as well. Villa, I've got a very, very good coach, probably the third best coach in the division, and they've got money to spend as well. Manchester United, regardless of who owns that football club, will always spend money. Newcastle are owned by the Saudis. Whilst, yes, you've had a great start, let's not kid ourselves. If you don't spend money, you guys are going to fall behind, and that's just a fact. I think Tottenham have to go out in January and spend cash. I think they've got to spend big in the summer, and they've got to continue to do so, because all the other teams are going to spend big. Newcastle, Villa, City, Liverpool, Arsenal, United, they're all going to spend big. And out of all them teams, correct me if I'm wrong, but Tottenham are probably the ones that spend the least.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? All these teams are going to continue spending. And I just think, be careful, because if you don't spend money in January, you could easily find yourself falling away in a year or two.
I think the thing is, though, as Terry rightly mentioned, we do actually spend money. I'm not going to sit here and act like we spend money like big clubs.
Yeah, we spend it on rubbish, bro.
No, we should be
rubbish.
Okay, and that's what I was just about to get onto, Lewis. You're a fan of Villa's recruitment, right? You've mentioned them a few times. You meant Villa. We've took Villa's recruitment team. Their director of football, their top scout. He's now come to Spurs. So clearly, there's a path for improving in the scouting department, which all Tottenham fans will recognize. The reason why it's been so bad, our recruitment, is because we've scouted bad players. You've got a bunch of these players, the likes of Lo Celso and Ndombele, Richarlison. That's about nearly 200 million just there on those three players, on players that haven't really played for our team and have been poor. So if we can look to spend that money better with, as you say, look, Villa's brought in some really good players over the past 2-3 years, and I've been a big fan of their recruitment. So if we can utilize that, those new people that come in, and see how that works out over the next, let's say, 6 months, 6 to 18 months, then I think things can get better. Look, I agree with Kate that we're probably not going to go and spend in January like other clubs, probably go and spend 100 mil unless we bring in funds. But we do always go out and add 1-2 players to improve the squad. Whether they're going to be big and key signings, I don't know. But I do think that we're going to go out there and do some business. I just like to make sure it's smart.
Yeah,
I'd say the most worrying thing for Spurs is that even before the Wolves game, Spurs' expected goal difference is 10th in the league. Now, obviously, expected goals for, expected goals against, doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. But over a season, that will kind of put you roughly where you should be. And so there's evidence that at both ends of the pitch, you were massively outperforming what was expected of the way you were playing. And then you take some of the key players out of that as well. It's like, by the end of December, when you start getting those players back, there is a genuine danger that you're not even in the top 6. And I think that's what you've got to be looking at. Get through the next month still in the top 4.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. I did say if we can get to January the 1st and be in the top 4, I'll be over the moon. But I just can't see it. And I love everybody's optimism that Levy is going to spend money this time. But if we see it year after year, it just doesn't happen. I'm at a loss with this club because it's just a vicious circle year after year after year, and it's always one common denominator, which is Daniel Levy, and he signs the checks at the end of the day. And unless we get a big investor come in, I just don't see him putting his hand in his pocket and signing what we need.
Do you know what? I listen to what George said, though. It often is about how well you spend. No one in the top 6 is a small spender. And I always remember when TalkSport did an article when Fergie retired, and it shows the amount of money he spent in the Premier League era. And I think City, when he retired, City and Chelsea had spent at that point considerably more. If you actually look at United's total spending in the Premier League era, something like nearly 2/3 of it has come since Fergie, which is crazy. But transfers are more expensive now, to be fair, as well. But Liverpool had spent just a little bit more than us, and at that point hadn't won anything. We were 4th, and then 5th behind us was Spurs. And in the Fergie era in the Prem, Spurs had only spent something like £20 million less than Man United. Spurs' biggest problem for 20 or 30 years, George hit the nail on the head, is you buy so much rubbish. The one thing that has slightly improved is the good players that you do get, you typically hold on to them longer. In years gone by, whether it was Berbatov or Carrick or Defoe, whoever it may be, at some point they went to another team that thought they could do something else with them. But it's about buying right, and it's about buying correctly. You look at City. City have bought Haaland, who the world knew who he was as an example because of his Champions League exploits. But when they bought Rodri, and I know that a lot of people sit online, especially in the fan content world, and like to pretend they're connoisseurs of football and they know who certain players are. Most of the time, let's have it right. We know who up-and-coming players are because of FIFA and Football Manager. Let's not pretend we all sit there all day. Only Strasbourg Steve, he's the only guy I know that does this, and he sends us pictures he's part of the Football Terrace members group chat. This guy has about 15 TV screens in his bedroom at the weekend watching all these games. That's the whole point. To watch all those leagues, you've got to do that. And you man ain't doing that, especially half of you I see on Instagram who are out of the weekend with your boys or your girlfriend. There's no way you're watching that much football. You know who these players are. But when City are picking up Rodri as an example, and players like that they're bringing into their team, yes, he was a fair amount of money. Yes, some people knew who he was, but he wasn't like a superstar that everybody was creaming their pants over. And that's what you've got to get right. I think you look at Basuma as a great example. £25 million. I know he wasn't good at the weekend, but there are really good players out there for decent amounts of money, even in 2023. You've just got to go and get them. And Spurs have wasted a lot of the money I think they've spent. And you are right, though, as well, Lewis. They've got to do well with that because, look, we don't know what's going to happen with Man United and their new part owners that are coming in. It may or may not go well. Who knows? The names of people they're bringing in to run the club sound ridiculously good in terms of they're bringing in Blanc and Paul Mitchell. There's this guy who used to run the cycling teams, and obviously that could make things work. They're talking about getting rid of the whole recruitment team, the whole ball. That could help. We know what Newcastle were doing, there's no doubt. And Arsenal don't look like they're slowing down either. So, yeah, from Tottenham's point of view, it's interesting times ahead. And how they respond to this. But viewers, let us know what you think. Get your comments in. Please make sure like buttons are being hit as well. This is a weird comment. It says, Terry, this was a fan channel. It's Pundit Central now. I want to say this with absolute due respect to everybody on. How many of you are professional pundits that work on television? Just I need to ask, show of hands, who here is a professional pundit or a football? I think we're all football fans twisted. And we still shared the link for people to call in. Anyway, thank you. Woof woof translation history of the Tottenham is what original base Annie says here. Spurs won't make the top four. No squad depth. It's something shows.
It already shows.
Already shows, right? Already shows. Do you agree with that, Don? We were talking about before you arrived. Do you think Spurs will make top four, or do you think they'll miss out?
Nah, I was listening to you guys whilst I was trying to sort out my my electricity cut off. So I was trying to sort it out. It tripped downstairs. But anyway, as I was saying, I literally agree with everything that you were saying, Terry, about the teams in and around. Like Chelsea right now, we're definitely going to go out in January and spend. You've got Aston Villa, they can do a little bit of something as well. So it's all about Daniel Levy, man. It's whether he's going to trust Ange and give Ange something, a budget to go out there and spend. But in January, you guys tend to spend anyway, Jords. And I've spoken about Ange's talent ID before as well. So how much control does he actually have? Like,
from my understanding, in the summer, he was the one who was given he had to give the okay for all the transfers, and he come out and said that. So I don't know why Kate's not going to head. He literally
because
said,
I don't believe it. I
don't
believe it now.
But the thing is, I don't like is when fans the manager comes out and says it. We can't.
I know, but
he says he gave the
$8 million by the club. He's going to say what they tell him to say. At the end of the day, he said he wanted Brendan Johnson, but we waited until the last week.
Give you an example. Didn't Pep Guardiola on Friday say that you wouldn't see Akanji playing in the role that Akanji was playing yesterday? Like managers, I'm just don't mean it rudely. Managers, none of them, good, bad, or indifferent, tell the truth.
Exactly.
I just looking at Spurs right now, and again the teams around you and the fixtures you've got coming up as well. I just don't see how players like Dyer, even Davis, he was good the other day, but again, he's someone that you can't depend on long term. You know what I mean? Like that third goal that Wolves scored, Dyer was under no pressure whatsoever. He decided to just kick it off the pitch. Do you know what I mean? And he's gonna do that. That's Dyer for you. There's nothing that Ange can do to change that. He's uncoachable. Do you know what I'm saying? So these are the guys that you're gonna have to depend on, and you're gonna drop points, and the teams around you are gonna keep winning. So top four is looking long for you right now, isn't it? Maddison, it ain't been confirmed. Like when he's back, he's the one that's the most creative player in your team. He's a big miss. Your centre back, your best centre back, arguably this season, he's another miss as well. Yeah, man, it's going to be tough for you lot to make it there, man. Because as much as you've got a good start, it's only November. Do you get it? And December's coming real soon. And you know how tight those games are. Every 2-3 days we've got a game. So it's long. It's long. I don't see Spurs making top 4 as it stands. I'll be real.
Are you replacing us, Don? I just want to know.
Well, I put us in the top 5 at the beginning of the season anyway.
Oh,
so
but you're replacing us in the top 4. I want to know. Not the 5, the top 4.
if you drop out, yeah, we'll replace you in there, yeah.
We'll be getting on to Chelsea. But the Sasko here says, don't forget the AFCON players and Son for the Asia Cup. Are they both those competitions in the season?
Yeah,
January.
January.
So we
January.
lose Son. So we lose Son, Basuma, and Sarr in January.
And you might not have Madison and Mickey back by then as well.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
George,
See?
you might get called up at this rate, you know. You might get called up because you lot are missing
I'll do a job in
bodies.
centre back, man. It's all right.
I might get called up at this rate, and I've never kicked a ball in my life, but I'm probably still better than Dyer.
One thing that I'll say though, Vicario, hey, what a keeper, by the way. What a
great.
keeper that guy is, man. He's serious.
I'm just looking now, actually. Man United play Spurs at home on the 14th of Jan. Oh, come on now. We might win a game. We might win a game. We might win it. We might win it. I had to go and check. I knew we'd play you until we played you early. This is for you, Kate. It says, Kate, are you Sava's mum?
No, I'm not Sava's mum. I'm just a realist like Sava, but I don't think I'm that much like Sava, but I am realistic like Sava. So, you know, but I'm definitely not old enough to be his bloody mum. He's only 4 years younger than me, you cheeky sod.
Well, we have to show the super chats. I'm really sorry about that, Kate. I didn't think you don't look a day over 25 to me. Not a day over 25, Kate. Viewers, make sure like buttons are being hit. Get your super chats in as well. Nearly 3,000 people watching live, which is amazing on this Monday evening. Where is Johnny Minerals? He'll be here about 7 o'clock. This weekend as well, we saw both Arsenal and Liverpool win again, really putting the pressure upon, for the first time ever, I would say, under Pep Guardiola's reign, where there is more than one team chasing him down on his towers, and you genuinely believe they'll stay there. I can't remember there ever being more than two or more than one. What did you make of your performance at the weekend, Rory, for Arsenal? It's, good score line, responded to that equaliser of Burnley's, and got back to winning ways.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. We had a fair few players out. First team players, no Ødegaard, no Partey, no Jesus, no Timber, no Ben White. And the way that we played was exactly how we've played for most of the season. I think that's the big thing, is that at the moment, Arteta's kind of got this formula that might not look as good, and it might not be as fluid, and we might not be scoring as many goals, but we are very solid at the back. We conceded a goal that was soft, and we bounced straight back from it, and it was a comfortable win. So, yeah, I'm happy with the way it's going at the moment. I think we've still not come close to hitting sort of top gear, still haven't come close to getting our first 11 out, and, we're a point behind top spot. So
I think it was a good professional performance, in all honesty. I think in that first half, I wasn't really impressed, Rory, to be honest. I think Saka was your best player. He was the only one that was making things happen. He was driving at his man. These are little things that I've been begging for Saka to do. He looked really threatening on that side. Martinelli wasn't really doing anything. And again, you were lacking that creativity in midfield. I think at halftime, Saka created the most chances. He created 3 chances at halftime. And then in the second half, bro, you guys, it was good that you got that header just before the second half, right?
Yeah.
It was good that you went in with that header that Saliba scored. And then after that, bro, it was just business as usual, because Burnley, they weren't looking that threatening, in all honesty. They had a few breaks, they ended up scoring. But yeah, that set piece goal that Zinchenko scored, it was nice, man. So I think it was a good professional performance, but you still need to sort out that midfield because the creativity is lacking in there. But it was a really good game from Saka, though. He was good.
I thought Zinchenko was their best player on the day. I thought he was exceptional. They definitely play better when he's there than when he's not. That's for sure.
Yeah, I think that sort of game is perfect for Zinchenko when we've got so much of the ball. There's not too much stress on him defensively. It's the perfect sort of game for him, and he needed to be in that midfield because you're right. The midfield, wasn't as creative as it normally is, but equally it was of our three best midfielders. Only one of them in Declan Rice was playing. So, yeah, like you said, professional performance, joint. Fewest goals conceded in the league with Liverpool, best expected goals against in the league, and I think that's the big thing. Last season we lost the league because we shipped too many goals, and we've so far fixed that issue, which I think is good.
You definitely need to fix that creative issue in the midfield, though. if you want to win this league. I just don't see how you win this league if you carry on playing like this. I'll be honest. As much as you won the other day, I just don't see you sustaining it to win the league.
I think give us a fully fit squad, or not even a fully fit squad, but just give us, Ødegaard, Partey, Rice back in the midfield.
That's asking for a bit too much, ain't it? That's what
I'm saying. Hey, Rory, let me just say something, yeah? Don't have conversations about Partey until we can prove his fitness. This is why I don't have conversations about Reece James. Until we can prove his fitness, I don't have conversations about best this, best that, best that. Until he proves how fit he is, yeah?
I don't feel like I don't feel like Arsenal fans should even sit here and say, oh, let's wait till Partey's back. Because Partey's proven, like, over the past 3 years he's been at Arsenal, that he consistently misses games. He's gone pretty much. Yeah. To be fair, has he been available for 2 games this season or something? Like, he's just injured, come back. Like, Arsenal fans, like a lot. I heard many in the summer saying that they wanted to get rid of him because of this reason, because he's only just going to let you down. You guys are going to say, we need him back. He'll come back for one game, look good, and then he's injured again. And they're not players that you want in and around your squad, especially ones that you want to rely on.
This season's been bad, but to be fair, last season he played 33 out of the 38 Premier League games. He only missed 5 games of the Premier season. So it's a bit of an over-exaggerated problem, but this season's definitely been a problem. But even just having Ødegaard back and actually fit and fresh, I think will be a big difference.
Yeah, when he comes back, he needs to step it up though, because he hasn't been great this year. So you need to hope that he steps it up, man. But yeah, it was a good performance from Arsenal, man. That was a good win.
I agree.
I wanted to ask Rory just before you go, Terry, because me personally, I think Trossard's the man to go forward. I think Arsenal should start with Trossard in the 9, and I think Jesus heavily overrated. I don't feel like he's the guy that Arsenal need to go with in front of goal. And until they sign a new striker, Trossard is probably the best player to play there. Do you think that Arsenal's more fluid with him in the middle, and do you think he's the man to go forward?
I think you're right that Trossard is much better than Nketiah. I still think Jesus is better than Trossard and offers overall to the whole team offers more. But we're definitely, with Trossard in there, we're more creative. We create more chances. And he's proven on a number of times that he can score goals in big games when it matters. And that's one thing that Nketiah has not shown at all. So, yeah, I think it's big to have him there. I think he's played the equivalent of 18 full games and he's had 19 goal contributions. So he's definitely deserved and earned his place in the team until we get Jesus back. And then I think there's a fair battle between the two of them for who keeps that spot. And I think Jesus should have to earn that spot back as well.
What did you make of Havertz's performance? They're asking in the chat, Rory.
I thought he was decent. Again, I thought he's had a run of decent games. And there are people that have decided that he's terrible and won't budge on it. But you cannot dominate a game in multiple games. You cannot dominate a midfield the way that we are if one of that 3-man midfield isn't pulling their weight. He can be far more creative. I think sometimes he gets the ball in the box and just doesn't know what he's going to do and looks a bit like a giraffe on ice. But I think he's improving. He is improving.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, he's still Havertz is the one thing I'd say at Arsenal which I still don't quite get. It's sort of, I don't even mean it in a horrible way. It's just like it's like a dog meowing. It just doesn't seem. It just doesn't.
So don't you think, Harry? It's one of those signings that Arteta's just being really he's been really arrogant, like really
edgy. Arrogant. You know when someone has to be edgy
to prove him right. Like he wants to be proven right by keep playing him. He's just gonna keep playing him until it figures out one day. It just
maybe. And listen, I think after 12 games, that's too premature because I think you have to give him time to work. You can't just, for instance, Mason Mount at Man United. He started a few games, had a little injury, and now he's barely starting. And we're sitting there going, "Hang on a minute, you've spent 55 million on him. Why the hell aren't you starting him?" He's doing the same with Amrabat, not starting him. But then when it comes to Onana, he'd gone through that tough period. And Onana's last 4 or 5 games, Onana's looked really good, made some really good saves. And we're kind of seeing the goalkeeper that we thought we were getting in the summer. So I understand sticking with him. But if Kai Havertz doesn't go up a level where he's breaking lines with his passing, scoring goals or assisting, because wherever he plays midfielder in the attack, he's an attack-minded player, and that's his job. And that's going to be the acid test for Arteta. It's when he gets to maybe 20, 25 games in, because you know what? I've given you a chance, and it hasn't worked. And equally, that's when Arsenal fans, and someone in the comments earlier said to me, like, Terry, why don't you have the same energy for Arsenal as you do Spurs when it comes to the owners? I have done since day dot. I told Arsenal fans last year that we're saying the Cronkies have turned it round. It's too early to say that. You've got to renew the contracts of all your top players, and then you've got to keep spending. And now this is another test. say Kai Havertz doesn't work. We know what Newcastle would do. We know what Bayern Munich would do. We know what City would do. We know what Real Madrid and Barcelona would do. They'd go out in the summer and buy somebody to replace him almost instantly. They may not sell him straight away, but you can't sit there and go, man, my team's done this for so many years now, where we sit there and struggle with a player that just hasn't worked out for 2 or 3, 4 years to a point where the fans despise that individual. They lose market value, and then you end up in a pickle. So that's when the test is going to come. Because I'm looking at Kai Havertz, and I think he holds Arsenal back slightly. I really do. But when you've got the injuries they've got right now, maybe there aren't, especially with Smith Rowe's out as an example, I still think they should be starting with Fabio Vieira. I say that, and then he goes and gets himself suspended for 3 games. But yeah, Kai Havertz is just the one player in that team that I just look at, and he just doesn't fit in. Does that make sense? It just doesn't feel right yet. But whether or not the manager keeps sticking with him, it remains to be seen. But I don't think 12 games is long enough to say he's being stubborn about it, especially with Odegaard, Partey, Smith Rowe all out injured.
I think he's definitely getting better. Whether he'll ever hit the level that we need a midfielder in the team to be at, I don't know. But he's getting better. And it's like, if off the back of the first 4 bad performances, Arteta just benched him and went, well, that's 65 million down the drain. Like, I'd be far more annoyed about that.
What is getting better? I'm struggling to understand how he's getting better. I think he's getting worse. He's worse than I'm seeing worse than what I was seeing at Chelsea from him.
No, I'm talking about since he's joined Arsenal. I don't care what he did at Chelsea. I'm talking about since he joined Arsenal.
I've been watching. It don't matter if I'm a Chelsea fan. I've been watching him in the league, and he looks worse than what he was at Chelsea.
Yeah, but I'm talking about since he's joined Arsenal, what he looked like at the start of this season. He's growing. He's looking more confident, more physical. He's getting shots off. He's very good at keeping possession of the ball, which at the start of the season he wasn't. He's beginning to learn the off-the-ball stuff that you have to do. He's more aggressive. So he's getting there in some parts, and there's a long way to go. And I don't think he gets into our best 11 by any stretch. But I'd be more annoyed if Arteta 3 or 4 games in just went, well, that's that. Then we'll just sell him when we can for 10 pence on the pound. There's no point.
Yeah. That's why I think I get the banter. If it had dropped him now, weren't playing him at all, Arteta would then be getting ridiculed for turning his back on him too soon. That we know that would also be the rhetoric, wouldn't we? Yeah. Why do we know that? Because Arteta's getting, Ten Hag's getting it with Amrabat and with Mount. So I think there's got to be a balance. But where I agree with you, Don, is I haven't really seen much from him. The last few games, he's kind of been that sort of 5.5, 6 out of 10 performance where he's not doing anything wrong, but he isn't really doing anything that moves the needle. And as the title race time comes around, as they keep building up these points, you just need everybody at some point to step up and grab the game by the scruff of the neck. And I just don't, he just still looks devoid of confidence to me when I watch him play. Honestly, and I'm watching Gallagher at Chelsea and the growth in him as his confidence, he's looking more like the Crystal Palace player. Still don't think he starts at Chelsea when everybody's fit and when Lavia comes into this team. But I look at him and go, well, that's a player that looks like the young man 2 seasons ago that everybody was thinking, oh, Chelsea got another young starlet here. He's getting that confidence back. And I just don't see, like, Kai Havertz still looks like a rabbit in headlights to me. It seems to be, again, I think it's more mental than it is technical with him. And that's impacting everything he does. You go back and watch him when he was first at Chelsea. He was such a better player. And where's that gone? For me, that's got to be confidence. Has to be.
The only thing I'd add on this is, I think the reason why he's getting so much stick and Arteta's getting so much stick is Arsenal obviously finished second last year. For me, they shouldn't have been gambling on Havertz, especially with the money that they spent, whatever it was, including add-on 70 million or whatever. They should have put that money towards a player that was more, no one's guaranteed, right? But you know what I'm saying? More guaranteed to come in and impact. That signing was a complete casino, black and red shout, yeah? And for 65, 70 million, whatever it was, I just think it's completely ridiculous that Arteta has spent that money on him. You know, there's so many players that he could have got that could have improved that squad. And, you know, you can talk about time, Terry, but how much time are you going to give Havertz? You know what I mean? I get it's only 12 games, but if we get to 20 games and he's still not performing, it's 30 games. This was the season that Arsenal should have been improving the squad to go and win this league. And if they don't win it, surely you're going to get Arsenal fans turning around saying, why has he spent £65 million on Kai Havertz? That could have been put on Maddison. You know, it could have been put on a load of other players that you can think of less than that. I think that's the reason why it comes under so much scrutiny for me. If it's 20 million,
I get that.
And it's just 20 million, it's a bit of a gamble, fairs. But 65, 70, I think that's where the problem comes. And I think rightly, both the manager gets stick because he was the one who signed him, and obviously the player as well.
I think the thing that makes it look like the one thing that makes it look like the worst decision was how well Granit Xhaka's doing at Bayer Leverkusen this season, because he's gone up another level. It's like Giroud maturing with age. The way that Granit Xhaka is currently playing, and you look at the way he's playing in a double pivot, it would work perfectly next to Declan Rice. And that's the one thing where I'm like, if we'd kept Granit Xhaka for another year and even lost him on a free, and it cost us like 20 million to do that, and then you've got another season to look at replacing him, like there's very easily an argument that would have been a far better option than signing Kai Havertz.
But Xhaka's you're wearing right now, Rory.
Yeah, I should actually get Xhaka on the back, but it's a pile. But the one thing I would say is that I think Arsenal, the scrutiny on this one signing for Arsenal is so much bigger because it's one of our most expensive signings. Whereas just as an example, if you look at Man City, signed Jack Grealish for 100 million, gave him a full season before you expected or got anything out of him. It was his second season when he looked good. Calvin Phillips was, 10 million shy of Kai Havertz? Has been an absolute...
You're deflecting, Rory. You're deflecting, Rory. The reason why people are pissed off here is the fact that you did so well last year. No one expected it, right? You were planning to kick on now and go again, right? And win the league this year with the money that you spent. So like Lewis has said, that money could have been spent elsewhere. He could have even spent less money on like a Kudus, because he accepted to come to Chelsea, but we were too focused on Caicedo. That's why we didn't end up getting him. So you could have even got him. You could have tried for Lucas Paqueta. I know that didn't happen with Man City, like a Maddison, like Lewis has said already. So it's not the money that you've spent, it's the fact that you've gone and spent it on him. That's the problem, because you're meant to be winning the league this year. Do you know what I mean? You're meant to be competing for the league, and Havertz ain't going to move that needle to get you there. Do you know what I mean? That's the problem that Arsenal fans have.
No, I agree. But I'm just saying, it's not necessarily that easy. And at some point, you have to get to a point where you might make a big signing that doesn't work out. And I actually think it's now. I think the challenge is not whether or not Kai Havertz works out. The challenge is, how does Arteta bounce back and recover from it? And if he does just absolutely stick to his guns and keep using Havertz and it doesn't work out, then I think you go, that's a big mistake. If he flips Havertz again for, even if it's like 35, 40 million and goes and gets someone else and that does work out, then I think it's fine. But
yeah, I agree with what Don's saying, and I understand it. I agree with what Lewis is saying. I think everybody's right, but at the same time, it's baby out with the bathwater analysis again. And I get, if you're an Arsenal fan and you don't want Arteta, you will use this as you've all done this in relationships. You're with someone, you're like, I want to break up. And then they do something that you don't really think is a thing that would normally make you leave somebody, but because you want to break up with them anyway, you use it as the excuse. Because if and you're laughing because you know it's true. We've all done it. Oh, how do I get out of this? Oh, she didn't text me for 3 hours, so I'm going to break the relationship up. I'm talking like I'm 16 again, but do you know what I'm saying, right? You come out, and I think for some Arsenal fans that will use Kai Havertz, if we'd have bought better, we'd have won the league, therefore the manager's got to go. But in reality, are we really going to, and I think where Rory's right, is are we really going to go down this road of you've signed a dud, big money or not, that's it, you've got to go as the manager, or do you let that manager replace him? Because I'm telling you now, if Pep Guardiola wasn't able to replace some of these early duds that he bought, yes, they'd still won things. But I don't think they're doing three-peats. I don't think they're doing trebles. If you still had Claudio Bravo in goal because you weren't allowed to replace him, if you still had the original fullbacks that they purchased because they weren't allowed to replace them, would City be as good as they are now? No, you have to let managers, if they buy a dud, replace them sometimes. I think as football fans, we've gone down this road of, you bought a few duds, we're not quite where we want to be, let's sack him and let's move on. And especially if you've got a broken project like Man United, a board that's all over the place, I do understand it because it's a mess. But if you believe that your club's moving in the right direction and your manager is part of that, surely they've got to be allowed to address their mistakes. That's the one thing I would say. I think all the criticism of Kai Havertz is right, but I think the solution, if it turns out to be wrong, of slag the manager off and sack him, I just think it's a little bit too extreme for that in isolation. But viewers, let us know what you think. Let us know what you feel regarding that. This here says, for me, needs to sign a box-to-box 8 pair up with Rice and Odegaard. If can't then sign a Palmer-like right winger who doesn't touch the line and comes inside in the build-up, is what Xhaka Forever has got to say. City are winning multiple league titles and cups, giving Grealish time to fit into a winning team. Foolish to compare Havertz's situation to Grealish, is what Ricky Proctor says.
I agree. I agree with that.
Yeah, facts. That's what I was saying. You're deflecting.
It's not really deflecting. It's just using an example. And to be fair, that's more recent. So now, yeah, of course, you can never say a single thing that City have done wrong because, well, they won the treble, which fine. But you can go back further, like Terry said, to other signings when you bought four fullbacks in the space of a year. There are times where Pepper's made bad signings and it's not worked out, and he's had the ability to instantly replace them. And if Arteta can do that, then
yeah, but Grealish had some credit. Grealish had some credit in the bank because of what he did at Villa. He came with a whole different reputation to what Havertz came with. Havertz came with a terrible reputation. You know, most of your fan base didn't want him. So
do you think if Kai Havertz flops, do you think that Arteta should be in it, and Arsenal don't win the league, Arteta should be sacked for that, in your opinion?
He might.
Yeah.
Oh, no. I wouldn't go that far.
I think that's where everyone's missing each other in this conversation. I don't think Rory's disagreeing with what you've said. He's just kind of saying, and if he does go wrong, then I hope the manager gets time to replace him and buy somebody better. What Rory isn't doing, he's advocate. No, let's just play Kai Havertz for the next 5 years and hope it comes good at some point. Sonny here says, we've got no time to practice games for Havertz. I'd take 35 million to sell him to Leverkusen right now. Ward-Prowse was a bargain. Listen, I'd love Ward-Prowse at Man United. Maybe not as a long-standing starter, but that guy's good. He's good. I still can't believe he don't get in England squads. It's crazy, especially with his free kick and set-piece ability. Trossard getting 19 GA in 18 games combined minutes on the pitch since January is more than Bruno Fernandes, yet you don't hear the plaudits that Bruno got. Yeah, I mean, Bruno was a central midfield player. So when Bruno Fernandes came in and in one single season scored more goals than any other English-based player in a single season ever for a midfielder, but he was scoring more goals than most strikers. That's the difference, my man. Like, if a midfielder scores the same amount of goals as Haaland, trust me, the midfielder is going to get more praise because midfielders don't score as many goals, Ross. That's why, my friend. That is why. The only thing rivals can slander us for is Havertz, is what Martin says here. Someone has to show Vicario how great West London is. Listen, he's a brilliant-looking goalkeeper.
I'll take him really in a heartbeat.
It looks great. In terms of Liverpool, when it comes to the title race, though, they won at the weekend. Could have conceded some goals. Still looking a little bit vulnerable on that counter-attack, but they ended up, Alisson stepped up, and Brentford really did miss some good chances. But Lewis, when you look at them, you've obviously gone toe-to-toe with them before. Are you as worried now about Liverpool as you have been in years gone by, or do you still think there's a little bit of a soft centre there?
I think they're not quite as the same as they were, but yeah, I always fear Liverpool, man. You know what I mean? With Jurgen Klopp, he's a top manager. He knows what he's doing. And Salah, he's that guy's just a choker. I mean, he just gets goals and assists every game he plays. He's absolutely fantastic. So yeah, of course. For me, at the start of the season, I was asked, who do I think is City's biggest rivals for the Prem? I said Liverpool. You know what I mean? I have flip-flopped on it a few times, but, Liverpool was the one. I think when you've got Klopp as your manager, they've revitalised that midfield. Yes, they still need a defensive player. And you've got Salah, who's one of the best right wingers this country's ever seen. They're always going to be dangerous. The thing for me is with them is, I know you can say this about any team, right? But if they do lose Salah, I do think that they go down a few levels just because of how good he is. But yeah, now 100%. And if they spend money in January, then 100% they're going to be up there till the end. So yeah, listen, I think it's going to be close. I've said all season, I don't think anyone's going to necessarily run away with it. But yeah, I think Liverpool under Klopp, they're always going to be dangerous. And they've done it to City. They've won the Champions League. They won the Prem. They've been there and done it. So you have to give them respect for that.
Definitely. A player for me, though, I think is absolutely back to his best now. Virgil van Dijk. I don't know what anyone else thinks about that, but he just looks solid. Everything looks like it's back to where it was pre the knee injury. What was that, 3 years ago now, Don? And that's going to help Liverpool massively.
100%, man. He's looking solid right now. And I was even speaking to Mons about this yesterday. I asked him, I said, do you think that the reason why he's playing like this now is the fact that he's got over that mental block of that injury? Because when you get a big injury like that in football, bro, there's certain things that you don't want to do. Like, you don't want to make certain movements because you feel like your knee's going to go. You don't want to run as fast as what you're running before because you feel like that's going to go. So maybe now he's kind of got over that mental obstacle and just said, you know what, I'm fit again. I can play. Do you know what I mean? That's what it's looking like to me. He's looking confident again in his ability. So yeah, man, he's been solid. He's been up there. Him and Saliba have been the best centre back so far this season.
I feel like almost after every Liverpool game we say, oh, they still looked a bit shaky at the back, like they were giving up chances, but they've got the joint best defensive record in the league, and I think that is almost entirely down to Van Dijk and Alisson, who are just world class, because you can get at them, but it's just that final bit where you've got to get through Van Dijk and Alisson, and they can't quite do it.
Yeah, and I think that's probably why you've seen over the past couple of weeks, Liverpool been a bit more defensively solid, because at the start of the season, when you saw them starting out, I think the main problems with their defense has been the partner to Van Dijk, whether it's Konate, whether it's Matip, whether it's Gomez. That partner always seems to just be a little bit off his level. And I mean, they have bad, I'd say, for me, like Konate, for example, he steps out far too often. And when he does step out, he loses challenges, or he gives away fouls, which he doesn't need to give away. And it sort of breaks down Liverpool's play and the way that they build up. So for me, VVD's definitely been getting back to his best. Not what we all want to see, to be honest, because he's pushing on. And I personally thought, I'm not going to lie, last season I did say, look, this is the end of Van Dijk, man. We've seen the best of him, but he's coming back, and yeah, you can't deny it.
Yeah, he's having a renaissance. I didn't know, because it took him so long. And it was, 3 seasons, and he weren't back at his best. You just think, well, at his age, he had the injury. He's had enough time to recover, and he hasn't got back to his best. You just thought, that's him now. That's him done. And he's having a renaissance. He's looking excellent, and he has adjusted. And I think that the subtle changes to what Klopp has made to the team, with Trent inverting a little bit more, has helped. There's more energy now in the midfield. So they don't have the DM. But one of the biggest issues that Liverpool made as a club collectively was Henderson aging out and staying in the team. And Gini Wijnaldum was never replaced. They lost their legs in the middle, which we all know, when you've got a soft middle, when you're being run through, it's going to pull your defense. And as Van Dijk's got older, with the knee injury, he's being asked to do even more physical things, and he wasn't able to do it. Now they've got energy in that midfield again. Trent's inverting, and they're covering his position defensively, which means you're not being exposed as regularly. All those things are probably helping Van Dijk, and you're now getting the very best out of him again. And this is the thing where Klopp earns his money. He's one of the best managers in the world. He's adapted. And when it looked as though he wasn't going to adapt, when you got to maybe January, February last year, and you thought, well, if he just keeps playing like this now, his team are going to keep regressing. But fair play to Jurgen Klopp. And this is why I'm sorry to have another pop at, it isn't actually at Big Ange, it's the gaslighting around him. This whole, you never rest on your laurels, you never change things, you never adapt. The greatest managers of all time adapt to what they have and the aging of their players and who they can bring in and injury problems. The idea that you shouldn't do it is crazy. Pep does it. Fergie did it. Clough did it. Paisley does it. You know, all these great managers, Jose, all these guys in their pomp did it. So the idea that you don't is crazy. And I think that's what really helped get the very best out of Virgil van Dijk. I still think they've got to buy another centre-back, because I'm not convinced on Konate. I'm not convinced. Gomez, no, none of them want him to be their main centre-back moving forward. And Matip's aging out as well. And I still think they need a DM, although I did think Endo actually had a decent game yesterday compared to what he did in the Europa League. But the front line of Liverpool is what looks dangerous. You know, and Darwin's just always in the right place. And he had a great game yesterday. He didn't score. But, you know, that I do still think Darwin's going to click into gear at some point. And when he starts scoring even more goals, takes that little bit of burden off of Mo Salah that can't stop scoring. Yeah, they're definitely in the title race for me. I don't think City are still my favourites to win it. But yeah, Liverpool and Klopp are proving it.
Yeah, Terry, do you think that what you've seen from Liverpool so far, you think they can finish above Arsenal? You think they can finish second? Because their attack, I know you just mentioned it, their attack is frightening, mate. You know what I mean? That Darwin Núñez in behind, I know he can be a bit of a donkey at times, but he's a good player. And like I said, Salah, you've got Diaz on the other side, you've got Gakpo floating around, even the boy Jota, I think he's a good player as well. And then obviously you got the players in midfield. I don't know, man. I just think at the start of the season, we all kind of just went, oh, they didn't get a DM, they won't be good enough. But now you're starting to look at it and you think, maybe they'll get away with it. You know what I mean? Especially with Van Dijk coming back into it and Salah and Núñez doing well.
Yeah, it's a great question. I think in terms of making top four, yes, I said that at when they didn't get the DM, they'll still make the top four. Can they finish in front of Arsenal? Yes. They both conceded the same amount of goals. I think it is 10 goals. I think they both conceded. The one difference between the two sides over the 12 games I've watched is Liverpool seem to me to concede more opportunities and it opened up a little bit more, which is the only reason why I don't think they'll win the league. Just over a 38-game period, you're just going to drop just too many points to win it. But I believe they're a player or two away from being able to win the Premier League again. I don't think they're that far away. It's a player or two. With Arsenal, I just don't think Arsenal have even got into their top gear yet this season, where Liverpool may at times have already shown probably the best that they can be. And that's still a very high level. So I still think Arsenal have got a level to go up. And if I was to predict the table now for the top three, it would be City, Arsenal, and Liverpool. But narrow points difference between everybody. Maradon the moron here, we call him that because he says weird things. Terry Konate is better than all the centre backs at United. Again, that's irrelevant to me saying I'm convinced that he can replace Virgil van Dijk and be a world-class centre backs that wins you Premier Leagues. It's them being better than, again, this is micro penis competition. Let's just live in your world of all our centre backs are rubbish. Him being better than them, how does that help you? Mate, come on, Maradon, stop. I know, listen, get out your mum's basement, get off the tit milk and touch some grass, brother. Come on, my friend. Thank you. I love you, though, Maradon. I love you, bro. You try every week. You try. Do you know what? One day I'm going to read out one of your comments and pretend you've got me because I think that will, honestly, I think you'll print the screenshot and stick it on the fridge at home. Mummy, I'm 38. Look what I did. I know that's what you're going to do, Maradon, my bro. I know it. He's going to do it. He is going to do it. Liverpool has scored one more goal than Arsenal. True. But yeah, I mean, that's yeah. I mean, and even then, who are the top goal scorers? City, right, on 32 goals, 5 goals behind City. Yeah, Liverpool score goals, Arsenal score goals. I think that's why the Arsenal criticism is weird to me because although they haven't been as eye-catching as last year, still scored 26 goals. You know, it's, and I still don't think they're at the level yet. Arteta has been gambling with our midfield for 3 summers straight. Lokonga, Vieira, and now Havertz. None of these players have replaced Guendouzi, let alone Xhaka or Partey, if no Premier League Arteta out. What's your thoughts on that, Rory?
I mean, Guendouzi's career isn't exactly flying since he left Arsenal. But I agree to an extent. We've definitely not replaced Granit Xhaka from last season, and we do look worse without Thomas Partey. So, yeah, he's right. We've not replaced them yet, but they're difficult players to replace.
There we go. Has anybody ever told you are a young Peter Jones? Who's Peter Jones? I'm going to Google him now.
Stan.
Yeah, the Jack and Stan lad.
Oh, that ain't too bad. Listen, not height-wise. That man's about 9.5 foot tall. I wish I was a little bit taller, but he's not a bad-looking older. How old is he? I've got to check how old he is. 57. So he's nearly 60. He's not a bad-looking geezer. I'll take that. I assume you're talking about me. Could be Rory, though. I don't know. Rory sounds a bit more like him. I weren't going to say that, Don. Do you know what I mean? Cancellation and all that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't taking that risk. Do you know what I mean? I'm never taking those risks. Listen, viewers, hit the like buttons. Make sure you subscribe for us as well. But there was a massive game yesterday, gents. There was a huge game yesterday. And maybe the greatest game this season is going to provide. I think it's going to become an all-time cult classic. It's going to come up on TV screens in 20 years' time. 4-4, the 8-goal thriller at Stamford Bridge. Johnny Minerals is here with us. What did you... There's a lot of Chelsea fans were buzzing after that win yesterday. They're celebrating it. Chelsea are on their way to being back. What did you make of the performance and the result from your boys at Stamford Bridge yesterday, mate?
Oh, but first up, big up Terry, bro. Big up to everyone here in the chat. Smash that like button and all that jazz, subscribe and all that. So it right up to Chelsea, up Minerals FC first and foremost. Listen, that game, all the Chelsea supporters creaming themselves over a draw. I mean, my standards are up there. I want a win. You go and score 4 goals against City, I expect to win. That ain't going to happen anytime soon, mate. The game itself, cracking game, end to end, but it was boys v men. I mean, it's simple as that. I think City were always in control of that game. They didn't really turn up. They're not on form. We all know that, but they're just such a well-oiled machine. They just seem to just get results, and they're just used to winning. But I think a lot of mistakes in that game, both sides. But Chelsea mistakes defensively, poor. Midfield was getting cut through too easy. Listen, a point's a point. We didn't lose, but like we got little wrongings in the fan base, like Rory Feld, actor Jennings, who likes to come out and go, Chelsea are back, and all this jazz. Well, we've got 5 points out of 12. All right, we're not back. We're still sitting 10th. We're not going up anytime soon. We got Newcastle away. So as far as I'm concerned, we ain't going anywhere fast, mate. You know, the reality is we got Starboy Enzo getting slinged off like in the Spurs game, 55th minute in the Spurs game or whatever it was, and then 64th minute against City. And this guy's got amazing stats, but I don't care about stats. I care about controlling midfield, bruv. You know, the bottom line is this, right? A point's a point. I never expected to get anything from City. City are the best team. They're the benchmark. But let's have it right. Our clowns upstairs want to go with kindergarten FC project, and that's what we got. We got to be patient. We got to go trust this process and all this jazz. Like, I'm not into all that trust the process.
Did you celebrate the goals yesterday, Johnny? Did you celebrate the goals yesterday?
Of course, I'm a Chelsea fan. Bro. Of course, I celebrate the goals.
Why are you celebrating them then? If you're not happy with they're the signings that Todd Bowley's made, no? Why did you celebrate them?
Well, let's have it right. I think if you look at the core of the team, Sterling, Gallagher, and Thiago Silva, they're the reason we drew that game. We didn't win the game. We drew the game. That's the reason. Those three players don't play that game because Reece only played 60 minutes. I see City just absolutely steamrolling us. The bottom line is this. For you to say to me, did I celebrate the goals? Of course I'm celebrating. I'm Chelsea, bruv. I love my club and I want us to win. The reality is we're not in any fit state of compete at the highest level. And if you think that we are, then I don't know what to tell you, fella. You must be on some cloud 9 or something, bruv. Because the bottom line is this. Chelsea at the moment are a long way from Starbucks, mate. They're a long way from getting top 4. We are 10 points off top 4 after, 12 games now? 12 games. We're 10 points off top 4. Now, obviously, the Wolvesy, they done the Spursy. We did the Spursy. But let's have it right, yeah? The old Spursy, thank you very much. Our kids don't need their milk bottles no more. We've handed them back to Andrew. He can have them. He's stocked them up there. Andrew's got them, bruv. He's a long way from Crocodile Dundee. Let's have it right. But the bottom line is this. We couldn't even score more than 4 goals against the hairline. Forget Sadio Mane, bruv. We're talking higher than fucking Pep Guardiola, bruv, yeah? We couldn't even score more than 4 goals. And let's have it right. For that game, for that matter, if Spursy had their full 11 without the injuries where they actually capitulated, we would have lost that game.
But they didn't.
Steamrolled, bruv.
They decided to do what they did. They didn't. That's their beef.
No, I'm grateful for it. I'm grateful for it. But let's have it right. 11 v 11.
If we didn't have Sterling, if we didn't have this guy, but we did have them though. So what do you mean if we didn't have
I'm not talking about us. I'm talking about them, mate. They didn't have Maddison, their key goal and assist.
Yeah, but earlier you literally said if we didn't have Silva, if we didn't have Reece James, if we didn't have
in the
Sterling or whatever,
game, it's called. Do you know what that's called? Do you know what that's called?
What type of logic is that?
Do you know what those players are the definition of?
What's that?
Do you know what they are? I'll tell you. Let me enlighten you. Something called experience. Something called experience that we lack in our squad. Something that these clowns sold. Yeah? All of our experience, all of our winning mentality. Yeah? We've only got Sterling, Champions League. He hasn't won it, but he's won Premier Leagues galore. Your Gallagher, who's got Premier League experience. You've got Thiago Silva, who's an absolute goat. Yeah? And there's wrongins in the fan base that want this guy benched. Oh, I don't know. Does Thiago Silva get in the team? I think we should sit him out. Oh, he slows our transitions down. Oh, he's too old. Let's have it right, bruv. This guy's a Rolls Royce baller. Yeah? This guy's generational. You don't drop Thiago Silva. Yeah? So when I hear delusion dropping Thiago Silva got us back in that game because 1-0. Yeah, it looked like it could have been an onslaught. Yeah, Thiago Silva, we got the early goal, quick goal. Let's have it right. Wonderful header, and we landed it. All right. But the bottom line is, Haaland, dangerous, got 2 goals, could have had a hat trick easy in that game. Easy. Yeah. We made mistakes at the back. Disaster, bruv. I mean, this guy is just not Chelsea level, bruv. He's not Chelsea level. I don't care what anyone tells me. He shouldn't be next to Thiago Silva, bruv. What are we doing?
He was solid yesterday, Johnny. What were you watching?
Solid? Did you see him for the goal? Did you see him for the goal for City's second goal? Where the hell was he?
How can your back line be solid and concede 4 goals? It doesn't
exactly.
make
no. There was so many times when the ball came in, yeah, and the guy just kicked it out, bro. Even in our build-up, he was helping us so much in our build-up, bro. Yeah, those 4 goals. City scored a penalty, cool. That second goal was poor bit of marking, right? The third goal, they caught us in a transition when we should have had a free kick from Gallagher being pushed. And then the 4th goal, what was the 4th goal again? Remind me, Johnny.
The Rodri.
The Rodri goal. Rodri playing left back.
That was a deflection. So
no, but that's the reason we conceded that goal is because Casado was so eager to win the ball back on the left-hand side because we've got Brillo Cucurella there, bruv, who's getting done. He got done for what goal was it? He got done for the second goal, I think he got done for. No, third goal. The third goal, he got done on the overlap. Yeah, right. Well,
everyone got done because the ball came all the way from.
He was too busy going in on the left-hand side when he should have been in the middle, and that's where Rodri had the space. And he took the risk because Rodri's a baller. He's probably the best DM in the Premier League, bro. Yeah,
Johnny,
so
guess
right.
what though? Guess what though? You're being. I
It
get
didn't
what you're
cost
saying.
115 million.
Bro, I hear what you're saying, but end of the day, we're up against Man City. Yeah, when you give Man City a chance like that on the transition, they've got Phil Foden, who number one was top by the way yesterday. He was brilliant, but him and Cucurella had a good battle on that side. He done him on that for that goal, for that third goal. It happens, bro. It's Man City. Yeah, but overall in that whole game, Cucurella had a good game, bro. Let's not act like he wasn't onto
He was all right, bruv. He was all right.
He was good. He was good.
Like, yeah, but that's not the levels at Chelsea. The levels at Chelsea is we should be elite. We should be competing. We should be solid. In-game management should be to a T, bruv. It's not like that. These kids are inexperienced. And they were just attacking. And when you go toe-to-toe with City, expect to leak goals. Disasi on that second goal was in no man's land, bruv. I mean,
we had to attack. We literally went down. We came back 3 times, Johnny. We had to attack.
Yeah, because of City's mistakes. Gvardiol mistake, where with Reece James got in and he played it across and Sterling scored. Classic Sterling goal. But that was a mistake by Gvardiol. If he actually cleared that or got contact with that ball, we're not scoring that goal.
But then hold on a second. This is what you've just done yourself now, because you just criticized Caicedo, right, for lapse of concentration for their fourth goal. For their fourth goal. But then with Gvardiol, you're trying to give them excuses like, oh, he just made a mistake. It happened to both teams.
No,
so why haven't you got the same energy?
Why
haven't you got the same energy?
Ask yourself, how experienced is Gvardiol?
What do you mean how experienced is Gvardiol? He's probably more experienced than Caicedo. He's been playing
in the Premier League.
I'm talking about overall, bro. He's been playing Champions League before Caicedo.
Yeah, that's cool, but Premier League different gravy. Premier League. I
don't get your point though. What's the point you're trying to make about experience?
My point is, if Gvardiol doesn't make that mistake, we don't score that goal. End of. Like we don't score it.
Football doesn't work like that.
If Ederson doesn't palm it straight down the middle, which as a world-class keeper, he should have palmed it left or right.
And I can say that if someone marks someone for that second goal, they don't score that goal. I can say that if Gallagher gets that free kick, they don't score that third goal. Like, what is this logic I'm hearing right now, Terry?
Because they've got enough quality in their team to keep going. We don't have that. We make mistakes.
We literally came back from three. We came back 3 times.
Let me interject. I want to go to the rest of the panel here. I get both sides of the argument.
I haven't even given my take on the game. I don't agree with what you're saying.
In a second, but like, I get where Minerals is coming from. He's not going to be happening until they're back at the highest level. I'm going to Lewis actually on this because you played them. Do you think yesterday demonstrated Chelsea getting better, becoming stronger, improving on their journey back to the very top? Or do you agree with Johnny that Chelsea are still a million miles away from it and this product is failing?
Can the answer be yes to both? I think they're definitely improving. You know what I mean? From last year and like start of the season, I think that's definitely fair to say they've definitely improved. But it's probably also right in saying they're still a million miles away from the top. I think that's also fair to say. I thought Chelsea were all right yesterday. I didn't think City won the midfield battle at all. To be honest with you, I thought Pep Guardiola opened up that midfield, like he's never done before, which caused us a lot of problems. And it was a bit of a weird game, wasn't it? Because I think both sets of fans probably come away thinking we should have won the game. But, even from my point of view, winning in the 92nd minute, I ended up being quite satisfied with the point just because we were shocking defensively. With so many defensive mistakes on every single goal. It was wild, something that I've not seen from this City team for years. So, listen, it was a weird game. It was a great game to watch. I think Minerals is fair to say that they're a million miles away from the top, but they're also, you can't say they're not improved. They definitely improved from the start. The question is, how much more can this Chelsea team improve? Because, obviously, Chelsea fans want to see Chelsea competing in a big time, Champions League, Premier League, and they're still far away from that, right? They conceded 4 goals, and on another day, City could have scored even more. And he's also right. A lot of the goals that they scored were like direct individual mistakes from the City players. But having said that, still a great point. Is it a great point for them? Probably not when they're mid-table, but in terms of like
mid-table, that's where we
are. Yeah,
in
terms of like confidence levels, it's probably all right. I mean,
Johnny,
one thing I would say. No, what's that, bro? What's that?
Yeah.
The one thing I would say is some of your fans and players on Instagram and Twitter last night. Bloody hell! I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a good point in that, in terms of like you just got a point against the treble winners. No one expected it, but calm down, man. Like some of the stuff that I'm not celebration, please. Although it sounds like I am, but it did go a little bit overboard. You know what I mean? You're still mid-table and you're still miles away from where you need to be. So, all right, you got a point against City, decent performance-ish, but there's still a long way to go here. And I still think there's a lot of money that needs to be spent.
Chelsea were at their top, playing at their top level yesterday. Yeah, that's not City's top level. The same against Arsenal. We played at a top level. That's not Arsenal's top level. Liverpool as well. And this is the difference, is we played Liverpool,
I've heard this narrative
Arsenal.
3 times.
1 second, bruv, yeah? We played Liverpool, Arsenal and City, and they've all been under par. And we have been at the best we can be, and we still bottled it. We still couldn't win.
I understand that. Don, do you think that's a fair analysis that those 3 teams played under par, or do you think this is Chelsea stopped them playing at their best?
Exactly that. Exactly that. This logic that, City weren't at their best, or Arsenal, they just decided not to turn up, it's bullshit. You know what I'm saying? We've got a manager, we've got a proper coach that implemented the proper game plan, and every single player on that pitch against Arsenal, on that pitch against Spurs, after we grew into the game after 10, 15 minutes or
this
so.
guy's nowhere near
up against
nowhere near him.
Bro, we're talking about Poch now, yeah? He put out a good plan yesterday. Did it not work? Did it not work enough to get a point?
I'll give him credit.
And against Arsenal,
he did make some good changes. That's where we got back in the game, because Enzo was anonymous.
When we played against Arsenal, yeah, we nullified their midfield. Jorginho was uncomfortable the whole game. Rice was uncomfortable up until we went to the 6th row, and they only had their first shot after 75 minutes. City yesterday in midfield, like Lewis said, they weren't getting any space. If you watch the game, bro, yeah, at the beginning, we was building up. We started off a lot better than them, and they were struggling to play through the midfield. They kept going wide, and even when they were going wide,
did we win the game?
Let me land my point, Johnny, because you're talking about City didn't turn up. I'm telling you what we did tactically to stop them from turning up, right?
What?
We kept they
didn't turn up.
Are you gonna let me finish, bro? Or are you just gonna keep interrupting? Because I let you land your point. I let you talk your minerals and all of these things.
Go on, land your fucking little paper plane, bruv. Come on.
Yeah, I'll land my plane. I'll land my little paper plane. Yeah, but anyway, let me educate you a little bit, because you clearly don't watch the game tactically.
You won't educate me, son.
I will, because clearly you think Roman's regime didn't expire. It expired a long time ago, my brother, and you need to accept that.
You want to go with Roman's regime, yeah? Roman's regime won us Champions League, Super Cup, Club World Cup, and top 4 back-to-back 3 times, even under Lampard.
Yeah,
you want to talk about Roman's regime? Are you one of these little melts that come on and pop in Bowley and Siri Merchant, yeah? Because you've grown up just in a little bit of the Roman era. I've been pre-Roman era, Roman era, and I'm now in this clowns era. And you want to talk to me about the Roman era is expired, bruv.
Guess what? Guess what?
Respect from Don Roman, yeah?
I do. I love Roman, bro. I love Roman, but end of the day, I can criticize him because everything that he didn't
Why
do
are you
everything
criticizing
correctly.
the greatest owner in world football?
Anyway, we're going away from what I was saying
Why
about
would
the
you
game.
do that?
Yeah?
I mean, that's madness, bruv.
We could talk about the he wasn't Roman. As much as he brought a lot of trophies to the club, he wasn't perfect, especially towards the end of his time. He wasn't. We can get into that another time, but let's talk about the game, yeah? When I'm talking about the game tactically, like I said, City were literally not able to play through our midfield, bro. We started off well. Like I said, when they were playing it wide, they kept kicking it off the pitch, okay? On the left-hand side, on the right-hand side, Reece James and Palmer, when they were breaking that line, bro, they were through on goal, bro. I was seeing us attacking with a lot of intent. And one thing that I was saying to Terry when we previewed the game, bro, I said, listen, I don't know what Chelsea's going to turn up in front of goal. The Chelsea that turned up in front of goal yesterday had their shooting boots on. Sterling was amazing yesterday. You're right when you say about the experience. I was one that was hoping for experience in the summer, bro. But end of the day, this is the reality of the situation. And I did say at the time as well that we still have experience in this team, like a Sterling, like a Silva, like a Reece James, for example. Ideally, you want more. But yesterday, bro, we played well. In my opinion, we played better than City. And for you to just discredit the plan that was put out and how we played and the fact that we came down from goals, from a loss, from a losing position 3 times is mad to me. Is mad to me because before the game, you definitely didn't think, and we had to attack. You definitely didn't think.
How are we controlling the game?
Hold on, Johnny, bro. You definitely didn't think that before that game that was going to leave with anything, right? What I was hearing before this running is, I don't see where Chelsea get any points. We beat Spurs, okay? I don't care if they had 9 men. That's their problem. No one asked Romero to go and do that. No one asked Udogie to get sent off. That's their problem, right? We ended up beating them. We've got a point from Man City. Before this, everyone's penciled this game as a loss. I actually predicted that we'd draw this game, right? So you can't just look at the table and say, Chelsea aren't performing well. Yes, we need to get results, bro. That's fine. But after the international break, we need to start winning these games. We need to start picking up these results. That's where I agree with you. We should not be 10th right now, bro. It's disgusting that Man United are ahead of us right now. Because if you watch how they're playing, bro, it's a disgrace that we are where we are right now. It's an absolute disgrace, Johnny. And
that's what experience does for Man United, you see.
But bro,
the table playing dog shit football.
Bro,
where here's us, our supporters going, we're playing so well, but we're not getting results. We're losing at Brentford at home, Forest at home. We're losing at Villa at home. We've lost to West Ham away. We're drawing at Bournemouth away. We've won one league game at home against Luton. It's piss poor.
Bro,
that's
Johnny,
not my standards, bruv. And you're telling me, oh, we're on the up. We're going to land it. We're going to get top four. Top four's a long way, mate.
Bro, I agree. I agree with you. It's unacceptable that the teams that we've played, we haven't beaten these teams like West Ham, Forest. You've mentioned some of these teams already, right? But all I'm saying, bro, is that you can't ignore the fact that our performances have drastically improved, especially since Cole Palmer's been in the team. They've improved a lot.
A goat in a game called Jose Mourinho, yeah? I don't know if you're old enough to watch Jose, yeah?
Of course I am.
Jose Mourinho, bruv, yeah, came out and he says, yeah, when you start accepting good performances and not winning, you stop being a big team with elite mentality. And unfortunately, someone like yourself is a byproduct of the toxic positivity, the whole PR happy meals that are flying around on the timeline. And it's sad because my mentality is this. We've spent $1 billion.
You're hearing things. You're hearing things now because
I'm going by how you're talking.
I've literally no. Don't put words in my mouth. Don't put words in my mouth. Just because I don't think it's all doom and gloom like you. Don't think that I'm happy with these results, right?
What is it then? If we're sitting 10th mid-table after 12 games,
I've literally just said to you that's unacceptable. But end of the day, we are.
We're still unbelievably positive.
You're just cutting in every 2 seconds. Mute your mic, my brother, and just hear what I'm saying. Yeah.
Well, I'm saying to you, hear you, bruv, but you're
not waiting. You're just
PR.
You're cutting in. You're cutting in every 2 seconds. Yeah. No one's happy with the fact that we're 10th right now. And like I said, we should be winning. We should be winning these games. But end of the day, like I've said, after the break now, yeah, we've got Nkuku and we've got Levy to come back. Nkuku should add more firepower up top because you know already that up top is a big headache up there. Yeah, we create all these chances, but again, we're very unpredictable up top. We don't know who's going to step up. In January, we've got to pray that we go inside. Yeah, well, Sterling's not a kid, is he? He's 28 and he finishes like a kid at times.
He's the only one.
Yeah.
What?
How many?
What?
Sterling is 28 and he finishes like a kid at times. You heard what I said?
Are you fucking joking me right now?
I'm not joking.
Are you joking me? Isn't he our top goal scorer at the moment?
And does that excuse his misses? Does that excuse his misses?
Bruv, what are we doing here? Are we thinking agenda on Sterling now?
It's not an agenda on Sterling. Sterling's not clinical in front of goal. What are you talking about?
How can you even criticise Sterling? He was our best player against City, yeah? All right.
He was our best player, but it doesn't mean that he's clinical in front of goal. Right? It doesn't mean that he's clinical in front of goal.
You're defending kids over this guy saying
I'm not defending kids. Oh, where am I defending kids? I've literally said they're all poor in front of goal. Johnny, you're hearing things, man. What are you drinking right now? You're drinking some Ray and Nephew or something, bro. Because you're not hearing me correctly.
The damn minerals and you lack them, son. I'll tell you that now. Because if you're coming at Sterling, you're one of those guys, yeah.
You're drinking some Ray in there,
guys that said, "Oh, Thiago stops our transitions. Maybe we should bench him."
No.
You'll say no.
Bro, Thiago Silva at the beginning of the season wasn't playing the way he is right now. He was very shaky, taking a little bit too long on the ball, but he's grown in confidence. Hold on. Let me finish what I'm saying, bro. Yeah, he's grown, and like I said, he's learning to play with the guys like Desarcy and Colwell, and he's been one of our better defenders, bro. I can't fault Silva, and right now he doesn't get dropped. At the beginning, you could have argued that he could have got dropped because he wasn't playing great. But that's what you call.
He wasn't playing great.
That's what you call constructive criticism. That's what you call constructive criticism.
This guy's been our best defender, man. What are we doing here?
No, bro. He's picked it up in the past few games, but at the beginning of the season, he wasn't playing like this. He wasn't playing like this. And I'm a big
boys. We'll come back to you in a minute. Let me interject, gents. Let me interject in. I want to go to Rory on this. Where do you stand on this? Because what I'm hearing, this is just me on the outside looking in. I get that Johnny is only going to be happy when Chelsea are back to the very top. Doesn't really want to hear praise.
We spent $1 billion, Terry.
No, mate, I hear you and I understand it. Where I hear Don, I think Don's standards are the same as Johnny's. But Don is just, in my opinion, celebrating what he believes to be the improvements on the way back to that standard. How do you see it, Rory, from the outside looking in at Chelsea when it comes to this debate between the two of them?
Yeah, I think Don understands that Chelsea dropped to a point and the damage was already done. And once you're there, you have to work your way back up. You don't just go from there to being straight back at the top. And whether you like the word or not, there's a process that needs to happen. And if you'd been looking at this set of games and you told Chelsea fans you'll take a point off Arsenal, 3 off Spurs, and a point off City, even if you were at the top, that's still a decent set of results. So to then, you've got that great result against City, and then to try and almost undermine your own team and say, oh, well, City made this mistake and City made this mistake. how about your team forced those mistakes? You put City under pressure and you forced those mistakes. So I don't understand what, I don't really understand why you just be constantly angry perpetually until Chelsea are at the very top again.
I'm angry because your Lego head merchant at Arsenal Football Club has set this whole trust the process. The guy's in phase 4, bruv, all right? And our clown owners are setting this Lego head as our benchmark at our football club, right?
You said
Under
Roman,
it was winning mentality, right? Regardless, if Ancelotti got sacked down the tunnel, bruv, after winning a double, because they're the standards at Chelsea. We're not no Arsenal. We're not no Spursy. We're the biggest club in London. And this is the problem, yeah? These owners have brought us down and served this on the silver platter for all these supporters. I don't accept this mediocrity, this low level, bringing in kids galore, all right? Name me one team in history, in the Premier League, with kids that's gone and won and dominated Premier League football, bro.
All right, Johnny, in 2-3 years' time, if we win the league, I don't want to see you celebrating at all because clearly
2-3 years' time.
Clearly, no. Hold on a second.
There's going to be players that are going to be there in 2-3 years' time.
Let me just say something because you're basically ruling this whole project or process out now. You're saying that it basically can't work because we've gone for young players. I agree with you to an extent, but I believe that these young players, bro, a lot of them have got a lot of quality, bro. Cole Palmer got a man of the match against Arsenal. He got a man of the match against City yesterday. Yeah, he got us that penalty in the last minute. How old is he? He's 21. Do you get what I'm saying? These guys are young, but they've got a lot of quality. Yes, they need some experience around them, but you don't know what's going to happen in January. You don't know what's going to happen in the summer. We're not going to go spend like what we did in the summer that just went, but you don't know what plans are there because clearly these lot need to rectify certain mistakes that they've made. And a big mistake that they made was not signing a striker. We can go back to the summer. There was hardly anyone available, but something should have been done about that firepower because it's peak. Without goals, bro, we're not going to move up in this table. We're not. That's our main problem right now.
It's a wonderful way to look at it that we spent $1 billion and we need to spend more money on more players because it's not ready yet. The squad's not good enough.
It's incomplete. Yeah, it is
incomplete.
How many players have we sold?
Johnny, can we just go to? We'll come back to boys and men. Can we just go to what Jords is going to say? Sorry, mate. Go on.
I'm just going to Johnny. Look, the thing where you're getting it wrong is look, you're allowed to have your standards to your club, and you're allowed to hold your club accountable for wanting to when they spend £1 billion, wanting it to be spent correctly. But you need to be realistic here. You've spent the £1 billion, and you can look at it already and say, look. These players aren't working out. You knew that from when you were bringing them in. As they were coming in, they weren't making the big impact that you thought they was gonna when you were spending these big fees. A lot of these players have been overspent on. A lot of the players were from the old regime, and you're still figuring it out. Can't you just see that Don is celebrating the small wins as you go along through the process?
It's not even a win, bro.
Wait. What you need to realize is the Roman Abramovich era is over. It's over. You're never going to go back to that era again, and it's never going to be like that. And even during the Roman Abramovich era, you had bad years. Did you not finish 10th? Did you not finish 8th?
Bro,
you had bad years where you went through transitions where your team wasn't doing that great, and you were still supporting the team then.
We were the most successful team in London, in the league, in England under Roman.
Johnny, why is it then? Johnny, let me ask you a question. Johnny, answer this for me then. Answer this for me then. Why is it that the year that Roman left, that was the longest time that he went without winning the league? Why is that? Answer the question.
What do you mean? Why is that?
Why is it that?
We had a transfer ban. Johnny, transfer ban, and we lost Eden Hazard.
When was the transfer ban? What year was that?
That was when Lampard was
2019, 2020.
Before we won the Champions League.
But you haven't challenged for the Premier League since 2017, which means under
Conte.
Yeah, so you went 5 years with Roman, that's half a decade of not challenging for the Premier League. So were you this angry with Roman and your ball then? Like, genuine question. Like, that's not just because of Todd Bowley. It's half a decade of not challenging for a title came under Roman. Surely there was problems at your club at that stage as well.
Listen, with Roman, Roman would just go out and spend the money or whatever, and he'd get the manager to go in and coach the players. All right. Gone are the days where you'd back a manager. We brought in that Sarri fella. I mean, the guy was trying to implement a brand of football with players that he just didn't have at his disposal. We went and won the Europa League. I mean, it's funny. We go and win trophies, and we got all these little whiners in the fan base saying we weren't doing it under Roman in the league. All right, we weren't doing it in the league, but we were doing it in the cups. We were winning European trophies. I mean, what do we want here? At the end of the day, I don't come at Roman ever. Yeah, Marina made some mistakes. She bought that cement-booted fraud at our football club instead of getting Haaland. But I from what I hear and what I know, Roman was aware of what was coming. I don't think he wanted to go and spend 350 million on Haaland with the situations that were going to arise. These elites know what's going on in the game, bruv, behind the scenes. Let's not be deluded like that. All right. Now, Roman himself, every ownership makes mistakes. Our ownership right now, ever since they walked through the door, has been mistake after mistake after mistake. And all I hear is if they can get it right,
Johnny,
if they can make the right decision.
Let me tell you how you're not making sense. You're praising Roman for what Todd Bowley's doing, throwing money out, bro.
When did Roman go buy a bunch of kids, bro?
Johnny,
no. Let's have it right, yeah. Don't come at Roman, yeah. I'll tell you this now, yeah. Roman Abramovich, bruv, yeah. All right, didn't go and buy all a bunch of kids to put in the first team, yeah. He done that for Cobham's Academy. He made us the best academy, yeah. All right. That's what he did, and he used that as a cash cow. Let's have it right, yeah. These cans are making our first team a fucking kindergarten FC project. All right,
hey, Johnny, you know he might
not 22 years old, bruv. What are we doing?
Hey, Johnny, he might not have brought kids.
One experienced team, one successful team. Is Manchester City full of kids, bruv? Have they all got 21-year-olds in their team, bruv?
Hey, Johnny,
he
might not
and
have
you're
brought kids, yeah?
Spursy, bruv, and you're fucking trying to give me the arrogance to tell me about my football club, bruv. Is that what we're doing here?
No, I'm telling you because you don't have a clue, Johnny. You're praising Roman for spending money.
Man. You're desperate to say Roman made mistakes. Your fucking owners made mistakes after mistakes. Doesn't even want to
Don't deflect it, Spurs. Let's talk about Roman then. Yeah, he might not have signed all these young players. Yeah, but let me just remind you, because I had to remind Lee Gunner about this, who we've signed since 2017, since we last won the league. Yeah,
I know who we signed.
Let me name some of these guys. Yeah, let me name some of these guys that we signed.
You don't need to write a whole essay, just fucking make your point.
No, because you're saying that you can't criticize Roman. So you can't criticize Roman for signing Drinkwater then, yeah? You can't criticize Roman for signing Emerson.
It is what it is.
No.
There we go. What it is.
This is what we're dealing with.
Listen, let me tell you something, right? The fact that you want to criticise Roman when we got these fucking
I won't criticise Roman and I'll praise him.
Tells me everything I need to know about your standards and what you think about Roman, bruv.
The
fact that we're talking about Roman is an embarrassment, bruv. Do you know he called Mikel to say, do you want me to get your dad? Yeah, who's kidnapped, bruv. You know, if that's Bowley, bruv, his dad's gone missing, bruv. You don't know where he's gone. And he's gone back and brought back 50 Nigerians.
That's because he's a criminal, Johnny.
Right, yeah.
He's a
All
criminal.
at the age of 16, 15, 18 years old.
No, look, boys.
What are we doing here, man?
Let's
talk about Roman, bruv. Let's talk about Chelsea
and
the fact that we're sitting 10th. And this is not good enough, mate.
No, it isn't good enough where you are. I still think there's guys are missing each other with your points a little bit.
Shambles, bruv. They're a fucking shambles, United.
What's that got to do with anything?
Because they're above us.
Oh, I know that. I know that's great.
So Johnny, everything. Yeah. So basically, in your world, in Johnny Minerals' world, yeah, Minerals land, everyone's minions, yeah.
You're on Johnny Minerals Island, bruv. That's where you're on.
Yeah, Johnny Minerals Island. On Minerals Island, yeah. On Minerals Island, Roman was perfect. He did nothing wrong. He did nothing wrong the whole time at Chelsea, right?
Roman won the lot.
Always decisions. No. I praise him for that, and I love Roman for that. Yeah. No one can take my love away for Roman. I think he's the greatest owner this league has seen. Right? That's it. But that doesn't mean that I can't criticize him, bruv. That doesn't mean I can't criticize him.
I'm not here to criticize Roman. He's not my owner anymore. We got robbed of our football club. He got robbed of his football club by the UK government and all these wrong'uns in the campaign against Chelsea, yeah. And we got melts like Rory Jennings and all these guys and goldfishes on platforms fucking feeding agenda on our football club, yeah. And we got supporters like yourself and others in the fan base, bruv, that are coming at Roman.
You know, it is
these clans and what they're doing at our football club is an absolute disgrace. And I will not accept it at my football club. And you tell me that I ain't got the right to celebrate trophies at my club in 2-3 years. Bro, we'll be lucky to win a fucking trophy in 5-6 years at this rate. Because where do you think Enzo's going to be if we don't get Champions League this season? Do you think he's going to twiddle his thumbs and wait another season to play Champions League football?
Defro, baby, 8-year contracts. Let's see who can get him out of that.
Oh, Defro, yeah, so they can make the money, bruv. It's all about money.
Boys, I'm gonna jump into some super chats here that have come through. I don't want to ignore the viewers on this. I enjoyed that though. It's fun, especially as it's not about my club. It's amazing. This year says Gallagher leads us in Premier League assists on 4, but people will talk about only his pressing and tackling as if he can't pass a football. Changing your mind when he presented with new evidence is not an L. Thanks for that super chat, brother. Thank you. I can't lie. It's from Faz, who says, I can't lie. Some of us are happy with the draw, but others like me, I was gutted, Johnny. Both backlines were poor. City won the midfield battle, unfortunately. Cheers for that super chat, bro. Long time no see. Needs needs a straight facts with Minerals and Don. I think we've had it right there, to be honest with you. I loved it. It's a good little straightener. Thanks, Terry, for giving me my first terrace show last week. Tony, not a problem, mate. You were great. Really liked having you on. Liverpool are overperforming their XGA the most. Yeah, I'd have to look at it, but yeah, thank you, Reckland Dice. Disasi posing not afraid of anyone after taking 4. Lol, did he? Oh,
Yeah.
oh no.
Where's that? That's the mentality. We've got them all on social media smiling at training ground. We've lost fucking against Brentford at home. Do you know what? Yeah, we had Brentford supporters saying Chelsea get battered everywhere they go. Do you understand how fucking raging that makes me? That we got Brentford singing that to us at our ground, the Fortress, yeah, the biggest club in London. We got Brentford, brother, who just happy to be in the Premier League, bruv. This is embarrassing. At least supporters accept it and they drink it in, and it's embarrassing, bruv. I've got standards, man. And United, good luck to you, Terry. You got that Ratcliffe coming. He's going to implement the multi-club project, yeah? Enjoy it, drink it in, bruv, because I'm telling you now, Glazers, man, they're going to cash in their money, man. They're cashing in their money, man.
Yeah, as bad as we are right now, Brentford, Arsenal, all these teams around us, West Ham, Spurs, they're not coming with no majors to our table right now. So they can laugh at us whilst we're in the mud. They can laugh at us whilst we're in the mud and that. They can sing and that at grounds, but show me some trophies. Show me some trophies. Then I'll be hurt. Yeah, I don't care about them singing. Let them sing.
I hear you on that. The super chat here says, between Kate's bluntness, facial expressions, and her laugh, I don't know which is funniest. Legend is what John Raps says here. Thank you, Johnny Boy. Terry, if you bring this guy again, you're losing 90% of Chelsea viewers. This clown lives on controversy. Don't ruin your show for us for this clown.
Let me answer this. Let me answer this little fella.
Be careful,
here,
though. Thank you.
let me answer this little fella here. Yeah, all right. When you talk about levels in the game, standards, bruv. Yeah, I'm not no byproduct of the Ted Lasso, Bowley, Siri Merchant, PR Happy Meals that you're eating up, bruv. That you're literally on the toilet with the clappers, bruv. Let's have it right. I'm done with all that nonsense, yeah? I'll tell you this now. I know a lot of things behind the scenes, yeah? I've got brown envelopes DMing me. Look at us, Minerals. This is what we like to see. What? Like to see us 10th, bruv? Is that what we like to see? Yeah? Little journalists trying to get Johnny Minerals on board. I'll never be on board with you Muppets, yeah? Dictating the fan base. Let the standards in the mud. He's absolutely gutted. Our elite mentality's gutted, bruv. And this guy, me ruining the Chelsea fan base, I'm the Minerals fucking general, bruv. Slim Shady Minerals. I land. If you don't like it, don't listen to me, bruv. Turn me off.
Hey, Johnny, I've got a question. What happened to your boy? What happened to your boy? The boy that had a dream, man. What going for him?
The boy that had a dream. You want to go there, Don? Yeah. You
Hang on, no, we're not. Boys, I've got to get back to the super chats here. We'll do that in a minute. Let me just say to this.
The thing is, he doesn't know the truth, so he's one of them little clown agenda merchants.
Let me just go to the super chat and say this. I don't think I'll lose 90% of the Chelsea viewers. The Football Terrace has never shied away from having different opinions. We're not an echo chamber. You know, we have Rory on this show. He's the complete adjacent from somebody like Lee Gunner, and that is the mixture that's there. So thank you for the super chat there, my friend. Thank you. Evening, Terry and everyone. Tottenham fans, do you think Saturday's game shows Harry Kane is missed? You'll lose more games like Saturday.
Apparently they're better without him in it, apparently.
No, it is, yeah.
Harry Kane's on what, 30 GA now, is he? Is he on 30 GA?
He's killing it. He's killing it.
Listen, he's landing it, bruv.
Don King Roman never sells. Jonah Mount and Kaya, by the way.
Facts, bruv. Facts.
Yeah, you like them too, didn't you? You like them, didn't you? Johnny is right with everything, is what Michael Ramsey's got to say here. This here says he sucks minerals from Mount's pipe.
You see how he's rattled. He's rattled the little fella.
Chelsea are playing a high risk, high reward kind of football. If they lose the ball in midfield, their defense is open to attack. City were poor against us. They did this. They did come at us, but we turned it around. Is what Guna Soul says. Thank you, Guna Soul. Fans like Don and Rory settle for this. No offense, is what Buddy Gunner has got to say here.
I've got some homework for you. Go and check all my fan cams from this season. You see if I was settling for those results.
This here says from Gunnar Burf that says Don happy to give criticism to Arsenal and Chelsea, etc., but talks about Chelsea like they are in a title challenge. Caicedo, massive flop incoming.
Hey, Rory, correct me if I'm wrong. Did I not say that you lot had a professional performance earlier and I bigged you guys up? There we go then.
Ike here says Don and his toxic positivity. Allow it. Chelsea are 11th, I think, or 11th or 10th. There we go. And as I say, Chelsea fans see things different ways. That's why I just don't believe on any fan channel you should have one type of opinion only. I think that's wrong, personally. Under Roman, when did we last genuinely challenge? Who bought in Bakayoko, Drinkwater, Zabacosta, etc.?
Well, Drinkwater and Zappacosta were January panic signings. Bakayoko was meant to be this next thing since sliced bread as a player, and the guy was just absolutely awful, bruv. Couldn't adapt with Premier League.
Drinkwater was a January signing.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, January signing.
I don't think he was.
It was a summer signing.
No, it was January.
Summer deadline day, wasn't it?
Nah, it was summer, bro. He came in summer from Leicester.
It was a deadline day
from summer. He came after the title winning season.
Yeah, exactly. Now you're making things up, and you're trying to give excuses to Roman as well. That's what you're doing.
Oh, back Roman to the end, bruv, because he's a dog.
He signed on the 1st of September 2017. Danny Drinkwater signed for Chelsea.
I remember that. He was on tour.
Oh, was it January or summer? Did you say
September, summer? Right. It was deadline day, though. You're right about that.
Yeah, it was deadline day. Yeah.
Thank you, John. I agree. All Arsene Wenger proved in his second decade that you cannot win with majority kids. Chelsea have an Arsenal youth project written all over it, is what Sky King says here.
Except we
Rory enjoying this. It's refreshing hearing a Northside Lee from other clubs, is what Matty K says. Terry, before the game, Jords, LB, etc. Everyone said we'd get pumped. Why aren't we talking about the actual game? Sterling, Palmer, etc. Poor from you, very poor. I don't dictate what the guys in the panel say. I'm not. Do you know what I mean, bro? It's not a dictatorship. You know, I mean, I'm not Kim Jong-un or whatever his name is. I don't say, right, boys, this is what you got to say. It's how it goes. But obviously, we did an hour and a half match reaction to the game yesterday. 167,000 people watched it. So we did give a lot of time to that game yesterday. So we did, but I can't dictate what my panelists talk about or what people super chat about. Otherwise, it'd be a bit of a weird show, my guy. But DJ, I do love and respect you. I know you watch the show very much indeed. Johnny talks about standards when we've had multiple flops since 2015. Too many fans bash the new owners when it's 1 year with a new structure.
Right, one year, we spent $1 billion and we finished what? 12th last season. 12th. Yeah,
you're right.
Even Frank Lampard got us top 4, bruv. With a transfer ban nowhere than Hazard.
What did he do last year? What did he do last year?
I don't care what he did last year. He shouldn't have been in the job last year. But ask your clown owners, why they brought him. They brought him in to appease the supporters for PR because they backed Jellyfish Potter to the very end. Ted Lassaboli, they refused. They got Paulstein coming out going, he's one of the best managers in the world. He's not got months, he's got years. What are we doing here, man? I mean, they held on for dear life for this guy.
I hear you on that. Jay says Mineral's talking about standards, but then refuses to criticize his favorites, even when they deserve it. Brother needs to hop off Roman's piece. Jay here says Roman, great, but no future planning. FFP and loan charges. Roman's model couldn't continue.
They brought that out, Terry, the FFP about Willian and Etu. Why didn't it come out when Roman was in charge? How far back did we buy Willian and Etu? And
it didn't come out when Roman was in charge because Roman didn't want to grass on himself. The new owner did it. Yeah.
Yeah, the owner's grass because if we don't get top 4, they're going to blame it on that.
No, they're not.
Yeah. They'll ask for point deductions, and then trust me, these clowns work in mysterious ways. You too. Let's have it right.
You're not going to get a point deduction. You're not going to get a point deduction. Joni, the guy to beat up who? And 2 guys. I don't know what that's meant to say, but thank you. Anyway, so Jim will run Man United football side. I think he's better than Chelsea. Listen, a lot of people were slagging him off. Nice for up near the top at the moment in their league. But anyway, we'll talk about that another day. High league gunner of Chelsea. Maya here says, Maria Williams, that is, says, can we please ask if Kate is okay? You all right, Kate? You doing all right up there, girl?
She's taking in the minerals, man.
I just think it's hilarious.
Of course she's not all right, man. Her team's capitulated because of Chelsea.
Don't start crying about my team. You're right about your own.
You're right about that.
Chelsea have their only gunner, laughing my ass off. This Chelsea fan is so cringe. Which one, Lewis? Which one? I want to know which one you mean, Lou. What the F? As a gooner, I really appreciate Lee Gunner now.
You know, I got Arsenal fans begging that I was an Arsenal supporter. Yeah. And big up to Lee, because he muds the brown envelopes as well. There's not enough of us. There's not enough
He
of us
muds
out
the
there.
brown envelopes.
Everyone's standards are in the mud, man.
Where are those 35% people who's predicting Wolves relegation before the start of the season? That I want to know. But what I will say about Wolves, Gary O'Neill is a very good manager. He's for the level, he's very, very good. I like what he does as well. I hope Sir Jim gets Tadibo to United. We need a new centre-back. I hope so too, Ronnie. I hope we get lots of changes. Miguel here says, Man City have... You what?
Probably outspent us.
Outspent. All right, there we go. Outspent us because Roman had no long-term plan. Look at how terrible recruitment has been since 2015. Is what Miguel says here. Kate, on the game yesterday, how did you see it? Did you see it as Chelsea improving, City off the pace, or just two teams that played really well on the day?
I thought City were off the pace. Didn't think they looked as good. I thought Chelsea looked better. I'm not going to lie. I thought they looked organised. I thought Palmer looked really good. I mean, I'll just say it as I see it. I've got no dog in this fight. But to me, Chelsea looked like they're improving. You know, last week, yeah, they beat us, but they were shit. We were just crappier than they were. And we went down to 9 men. But I watched them yesterday and I thought they look like they're moving in the right direction. I mean, at the end of the day, I get what you're saying, Johnny, and your standards are up here because Chelsea have been spoiled because they've had all this money and got all this success. But now you're back where you are, and it's going to take time to build back up. And you might not like it.
Kate, is my point. They've deliberately brought us here. They didn't need to do that. All they had to do was tweak the team with Tuchel. With an elite gaffer. Yeah, we've settled for a less experienced gaffer, a non-elite gaffer, all right? Non-elite players, non-experienced players. I mean, what are we doing here? Why? For what reason? And spend more money.
I did say the biggest mistake he made was getting rid of Tuchel. That baffles me. But, you know, like I say, you are where you are now. And unfortunately, you're just going to, well, unfortunately, but fortunately in a way, because it's quite funny to watch, you're going to have to just build yourself up. But, I mean, I was going to ask you what you make of Pochettino, but I'm guessing you're not a fan.
No, look, let's have it right, yeah. Pochettino, yeah, I didn't really want him at Chelsea. I didn't want him. I wanted a Luis Enrique or someone who's won the big trophies and has got a brand of football that I like, if we're going to go with this whole kindergarten multi-club project. But for me, Pochettino, I back him. He's our gaffer now. And I think yesterday's game, I think he proved to me that in the first game this season that he's made the right in-game changes. Because the change to take Enzo off was Bottle when he says the owners will be coming at him if he doesn't play Enzo and Casado because they're their star boys, big money signings, spent 300 million on the midfield. One of them we ain't seen yet. But the point I'm making is he took him off. He put Gallagher as a double six and he brought on Mudryk. And all of a sudden, we looked better. And Gallagher played that one ball, made the run up towards the box, hit the shot, and we created and we scored a goal from it. But it's like that change there and bringing Broha on as well when Jackson was tired. Like, he didn't really do that at Spurs for me. At Spurs, like I say, you lot were lining up like milk bottles on the halfway line, and we still couldn't like penetrate you for 20 odd minutes, 25 minutes. So he's made an improvement against the benchmark of a team. I liked his fight after the game. I like the fact that he was coming at Fraud Taylor because he's a wrong un. He should be permanently put down in Championship. Yeah, that's too elite for him. Championship's too elite for Fraud Taylor. He should be way below that.
Johnny, just to add to that as well, you know what was good as well, the fact that he brought Palmer into the midfield because when he was playing when he was playing on the right hand side, he was getting on the ball, but not as much. I wasn't really seeing him involved as much. You know what I mean?
He was
when he went central.
In fact, we should have had a penalty when Palmer went through 3 players and he was.
And he got grabbed back. We were speaking about that yesterday.
So there were decisions that didn't go in our favour, and I don't really think the Haaland penalty. He's touch and go with that. He's touch and go. But to answer your question about Poch, is he showed a bit of fight for me after the game. I didn't like all his PR waffle and his lovely flirting with Spursy before the Spurs game. But then maybe look at it as a bit of mind games in there. But I think just keep your mouth shut. You Chelsea now.
Calm down, bro. It calmed them down.
You know-
I heard it didn't get booed. It calmed them down a bit. I heard
Well-
it didn't get booed at the ground.
Well, maybe I think the diehard fans would have booed him, but I just think like Poch needs time, but whether he gets that time, because I'm telling you now, we don't get top 4 or Europa League this season. All right, you watch the supporters.
Yeah, no, I hear you on that. There's a super chat here that says if Chelsea gave Graham Potter time and trusted him and not sacked him, they would be title challengers.
Nah.
Terry, that's waffle, yeah. I'll
this
tell
is
you why
waffle.
that's waffle.
Go on, Johnny, land.
Because jellyfish pot, and we know what a jellyfish is. They don't have brains. They just go, yeah. All right. That's what he was. He was a yes man. Yeah. I knew he was a yes man. I knew, yeah. Let's have it right. We talk about minerals and what I know, because I don't talk shit, yeah. I'm telling you this now. In January, where was the Newcastle game? Before the World Cup, we played Newcastle away, St. James's Park. Yeah, everyone remembers that lineup. It was the worst lineup I've seen all season. Bro.
Mount Gallagher and Broja up top.
Yeah, and he made in total, I think it was 94 changes in charge in that season for that stint, which is a world record, bro. Yeah, right. He was dictated by the owners who to play. Right, they go by the 4-4-3.
No.
What do you mean? No. Don't give me this. No, bro. I know. I know.
No.
I know. What do you mean? No. I fucking know it.
He was given all the control, yeah, to do what he had to do with the squad.
Bro.
And he walked in there.
I'm telling you, Johnny. I know. How do I know? How do you know? How do I know Raheem Sterling laughed at Bowley's face and went to the showers when he's going, I'm paying you 300 grand a week and I paid 40 million for you and you're not scoring me goals? Why? How do I know Raheem Sterling fucking laughed his ass off? And don't worry about my sauce, bruv. I'm not here. I ain't no brown envelope, bruv. I'm just telling you facts, yeah? And it's up to you. You want to go by the PR?
That's a Johnny Mineral line. That's a Mineral line.
I'll tell you what's funny, yeah? I'll tell you what's funny. Let me enlighten you, yeah? The truth always comes out. Does it or does it not?
It does.
Right. So what happens after Jellyfish Potter's sacked and it comes out by all the biggest platforms that he's a yes man? Where did that come from?
No, he just had no. Let me land, Johnny. Yeah, he just had no bottle, bro. He was trying to please everyone.
Oh, bro, you're waffling, man.
Remember, no, I'm not. Bro. Listen to what I'm saying.
I know you're waffling because
Ziyech was on the verge. Ziyech was on the verge of leaving. Ziyech was on the verge of leaving the club. Right, we left this guy stranded in Paris. Ended up back at the club, and guess what happens the following game? He starts against Spurs.
Who made that? Who made that call? Who made that call?
Yeah, no, that fucked up. That fucked up, but Ziyech should have never started that game, right? And I'm asking you, going back,
boys. I've got to go very momentarily because I've got kids to put to bed and all sorts of things. I love this. I don't want to end it. I'm sorry for the viewers, but you can just rewind this 45 minutes back and just watch it again and again and again. We'll pick this up at another time, I'm sure. I want to thank Johnny and Don and Jords and Kate and Rory and LB Lewis that had to go a little bit earlier. To all of my super chatters. All my super chatters, let's have it right. Super chatters, thank you very much indeed. You're amazing keeping the channel going. To everyone who's hit the like button, thank you. To everyone who's going to do it, a big shout out to you as well. Back tomorrow with Lee Gunner in the afternoon. I don't know what I'm doing before and after that. We'll work something out. There's always news. But me and Lee Gunner, 3:30 tomorrow afternoon. Make sure you're all back with us. Until next time, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And remember,